See at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the lane. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NASCAR Weekly Podcast, another wild and wacky Wednesday night. I am your host, Eric Estep, alongside bobblehead Matt, who is left over from last week's show. I forgot to put him back on the shelf. Welcome, everyone. Happy to have you here. We have a lot to get to. Richmond Raceway, Daytona regular season cutoff, just a few nights away. I am joined, as always, by Daniel Baldwin, a.k.a. Danny B., who I saw was scarfing some dinner down literally as the intro was rolling. What was the cuisine tonight, Danny?
Little like a walking taco bowl that Claudia made up for us.
Oh, I can smell it through the Zoom call here.
That's concerning if microphones have smell capabilities now.
It's the future. It's the next gen. Jarrett Lundberg, aka the Iceberg. What are you wearing, Jarrett? That's a throwback. Oh my goodness.
It's
the Groove logo. Love that.
Well, it's celebrating Mr. 250K here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
We're not worthy.
250,000 subscribers. Yeah, hit that just a few days ago. Really appreciate everyone who clicked that little button on the bottom of the screen there. Apparently 250,000 people have done that over the last 14 years. That's pretty wild, but great to be back Wednesday night. I guess I'm wearing the not a throwback of mine. I'm wearing the Cinnamon Toast Crunch car this week.
And I'm wearing the neutral black shirt.
Yeah. And Daytona this weekend going to be a big opportunity for someone like a Chris Buescher, maybe his teammates, to win their way into the playoffs. It's their last shot. Danny, your boy, Alex Bowman on the bubble. I saw your little skit. It sounds like you're ready. You're going to go out there in full force, bring all the positive vibes you can to that 48 team.
Yeah. No media credential. We don't gotta cast aside bias. I can have 100% bias this weekend. Went to Ticketmaster, bought our seat. We're going in there, and even Claudia, who is traditionally a Chase Elliott fan, bought a new shirt from AlexBowmanRacing.com.
Wow, shout out.
She's going in with the 48 in mind this weekend.
That's huge. My gosh. Two hearts more powerful than one. There we go.
Bowman Nation, we need you in the stands. We need you to get loud for the 48 this weekend.
The more the merrier. Well, we will talk Daytona towards the end of this show. Might come up a few times throughout our conversation. We have so much to get to, folks. As you well know, the full 2026 Cup, O'Reilly, and Craftsman Truck Series schedules were released earlier today. We will give our thoughts on some of the highlights, some NASCAR drama this week. We'll touch on that in a bit. We'll get to the Xfinity Series race the Craftsman Truck Series race at Richmond in a few moments, but we'll start with the NASCAR Cup Series at Richmond. Austin Dillon, people keep saying it's not redemption. I think it is. He redeemed himself. He made a mistake at the end of last year's Richmond race, blew the restart, and then wrecked two guys to finish first. He redeemed himself by winning this race completely straight up drama-free, I would say. Austin Dillon from 28th in the regular season points coming into the night to top 16 in the playoffs. Winning, you're in. That's how it works. Jarrett, your reaction to Austin Dillon doing it again, backing up his 2024 victory with another 2025 performance.
Well, I mean, it's textbook redemption. I mean, it's coming back to the place of, while he won arguably his worst career failure, like a most embarrassing moment, and coming back the next year and doing what should have happened last year when, I mean, he was like 3 seconds ahead, I believe, last year. The speed was the same, especially towards the end. It was kind of scary how his race mirrored last year so much, except it's like right at the end, the paths diverged. I mean,
there's a good ending this time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take anything away from it. And somebody brought it up in my chat on Saturday night. I keep remembering Saturday night. Somebody brought up in my chat that this is more or less the first win that there's no way you can have any sort of spin or controversy on it. It wasn't a 550 race. He didn't wreck somebody to win. It wasn't a fuel mileage race. It wasn't anything like that. Like, he won straight up. Like, he went out and kicked their ass at the end.
Did he lead more laps this year or last year? I don't remember. Because I feel like I remember him leading more in last year's race, and then it just got dramatic at the end.
He led 107 in this one, so I don't know if he led 100 laps last year, but Jarrett can look that up, I guess. I agree, though, with what you just said, Jarrett, and also with what Peter just said. This was Dillon's most impressive Cup performance yet. Someone in the chat mentioned, what about 2020 Texas? To your point, Jarrett, that was a 550 horsepower race where tires didn't matter. Dillon and Reddick stayed out, or maybe they took two. I don't remember. They took track position over tires and ultimately made the rest of the field look foolish. So, it wasn't exactly a straight up win in terms of having the best pace, the best performance. I agree, though. Austin Dillon, something about Richmond, and you can say it's, hey, having some Joe Gibbs Racing intel, having a new person in the shop now that can bring some of that setup info. But at the end of the day, the car passed pre-race inspection, it passed post-race inspection. Setup or not, this car, this team, this driver smacked the field 2 years in a row.
He led 35 last year.
So this was his best showing.
He only led 30. He only led 35 last year.
I guess he just came on strong.
Why do I remember him leading a lot more than that last year?
Because he went out like a bat out of hell after he took the lead. I mean, he just flew away. I mean,
dang. Well, I will say his pit crew made an amazing call there at the end, because before the green flag pit stop, him and Blaney were still close. Blaney wasn't out of any means, but by the time it all cycled out, Blaney was like 3 or 4 seconds back, and Alex Bowman was the fastest car on the track there at the end. He just ran out of time. And I you talk about no drama. Yeah, no drama. But in the moment, I think Alex was getting a little heated with Jesse Love, and maybe racing a little harder against him than any of the other lap traffic.
Yeah, it was Jesse Love a little, but I also think his complaints were with Shane Van Gisbergen, who first shout out SVG 14th on an oval, a tough oval at that, tire conservation. But SVG created his own defensive third, fourth lane, and that made him. I saw it earlier in the race when there was guys in traffic. You couldn't pass him because he'd carry so much momentum using that high side that even fast guys like Bowman at the end couldn't pass him. So yeah, Bowman a little frustrated that some of the, shall we say, more RCR, ECR aligned cars racing him a little hard at the end. That's fair, but I don't think he was catching Dillon.
Had he been able to get there at the end, I'd been really curious how Dillon would have approached that after last year, because he did race Blaney very clean, though. I will say that when he took the lead.
He did. That was a 10, 12 lap side-by-side battle with like little to no contact. Very respectful, I thought.
I want to give praise to that team as a whole. There's been a lot of talk about how important the team is this week, but I think in this aspect, it's very, very apt to talk about it. And they, I believe, got the lead from Blaney and then immediately short pit him, took his strategy away. Yeah. The only thing I think Blaney could have done was like pit the very next lap if he were to try and stay on the same strategy. And at that point, Blaney was so far back, like Danny mentioned, burned up his tires. It was a brilliant call on that entire team's part and the driver. Like best, I would argue, best RCR performance since like Kevin Harvick's last win there. I mean, like I could argue from team call to maybe Tyler Reddick's one at Road America. That might be up there too.
Sure.
Like, but this was one of the most impressive RCR total wins I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, the only problem was the other half of RCR had one of their worst showings in a while, so it's kind of hard for me to say. Like,
and
it's hard
after
to compliment the
so
whole
good in practice going into the race.
But I'm with you. The 3 team. I mean, Richard Boswell, say his name, did this last year with Chase Briscoe, and I don't remember the strategy in that race, but no one suspected Chase Briscoe and that dying 14 team were going to win their way into the playoffs late in the summer, and they did in the Southern 500. Richard Boswell was part of that effort. So something about Boswell and back up against the wall comes through in the clutch. So no, very impressive showing from Austin Dillon, and impressive showing for NASCAR. I think NASCAR as a sport, the Cup Series as a league, needed a strong race.
Short tracks needed this.
Exactly. This was one of the best short track races I've seen with this car. Tire wear that progressively degraded over the course of the run, comers and goers, even on equal tires. We saw the Dillon Blaney battle late in the race. They were on equal tires side by side, action packed. Strategy mattered. It wasn't all about saving fuel and aero blocking. SVG creating his own lane. This was such a fantastic race. It wiped my palate clean, frankly. It was exactly what I needed this time of year. What did you think, Danny?
Yeah, from start to finish, it just seemed like this was exactly what NASCAR needed. It was fun. It had a lot of a lot of unknown about it because we saw brief periods where some of the Hendrick cars were looking very dominant. We saw brief periods where 2311 was looking very dominant. And then we've seen at the end, it was, the show we saw with Blaney and Austin Dillon and Alex Bowman up there. So I think for once, people who I would consider myself a Richmond dreader, just want to know that you don't necessarily look forward to sitting down and watching. And admittedly, it did miss a little bit of the start of it. We were out on the boat, running a tube around on the lake for a little bit, but still was listening to it on the water and paying attention to what was going on. But it sounded like we were, at least in the first half, it was just as good in the first half as it was at the end. So overall, I think this is exactly what NASCAR fans needed, because we do love short tracks, but we hate dreading short tracks, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense. After the race went live, a lot of people wanted me to go on a rant about the playoffs, and I said no, because for one, it's the same damn thing I've said for the last 10 years about any win like this. But the biggest point I wanted to make is because I wanted to have fun with this night and be positive, because I thought this was a damn good race. I thought this was like the Richmond I grew up with. Different lines, tire wear mattered, and it wasn't just that it went fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
It was gradual in a good way. There was strategy, and Richmond has, people seem to forget, Richmond has always had that kind of strategy aspect in like long runs. There was beating and banging. There was a big one, which is more common at Richmond than I think a lot of people realize. Like, all in all, this was a race that fans needed. I think this is the first time, I would say, since Atlanta, that fans have been actually very happy with that, with the race. And it's been 2 months since fans have overall been happy with the race. So I'm sorry, I'm not gonna, rain piss on everyone's parade, all that, whatever, like any of that. Like, real quick, I wanted to double check, and it's true. Fun fact, and maybe you guys know it if you do, like, abstain. But I'm going to kind of trivia. When was the last time the 3 led 107 laps and won?
1998.
Yep.
That sounds about right to me. Wow.
Daytona 500, 1998.
I only know
Daytona.
I only know that because someone in the chat had said it to me earlier, so I apologize.
Yeah. And I know, it was sold out too, and we can put asterisks and all that next to that or whatever. It was a fun, needed night for NASCAR fans.
Yeah.
It was a needed moment of positivity and levity, and I'm not going to be upset over that and nitpick a million things. Maybe we'll nitpick Kyle Busch in a bit, but that's about it.
Yeah, we can nitpick Kyle. We can nitpick a few nights, but to your point, Jarrett, great racing, great energy, great atmosphere. And to what Danny said earlier, there were a lot of unknowns. 2311, I thought those two guys had the best cars. They won the first 2 stages. I think Bubba Wallace actually led the most laps. That team has been on a heater lately. I think he had 4 straight top 10s before this race, and then a loose wheel doomed his night. Tyler Reddick got wrecked by Suarez turning Ty Gibbs. So the 2311 guys, bad luck, bad mistakes on pit road, fell out of contention. Denny Hamlin, I thought, had a really good car, but committed multiple pit road penalties, had multiple pit road issues. Joey Logano had to start last, but drove all the way up to 4th by the end of this race. And it sounded like maybe had a little more in the tank, might have had a tire issue there towards the end of this race, but a strong showing from him. And then we talked about Alex Bowman coming up just short in 2nd.
This tire, I believe, is also being used at New Hampshire and Martinsville. What I think Denny Hamlin was saying that.
New Hampshire for sure. Yeah, I didn't hear Hamlin's concept. Martinsville might be correct as well. I know New Hampshire is.
I don't know how to do at Martinsville, but I like the idea of this one at New Hampshire. I think that can do really well there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And but one driver who really had a rough night, teased it earlier, Kyle Busch. He ends up with not a horrible finish. Let's see. He finished like 16th. He finished 16th, which obviously isn't great, but not the end of the world, but he was at least partially responsible for the big crash roughly halfway through this race on a restart. Yeah, I'm not going to put all the blame on Kyle Busch. They were being really aggressive down the backstretch. Chase Briscoe made a move to the inside of Larson, who just entered the corner like Briscoe wasn't there. So I would put a lot of the blame on Larson there, or Briscoe pushing the issue. Briscoe checks up. Kyle runs through him. Huge stack up. And then, I don't know, Kyle Busch just kind of gave up, it looked like, and just allowed his car to meander back into traffic, where he hooked Chase Elliott into the wall, who also got a piece of William Byron. That ended Chase Elliott's night and regular season championship hopes. But, the high of Austin Dillon doing his thing at Richmond to the low of his future Hall of Fame teammate just making mistakes. He also sped on pit road. Kyle Busch did. What else is new? I mean, Jarrett, it's getting like, I want to root for Kyle Busch. I find myself picking him as a dark horse on this show quite a bit. Like, there's a lot of tracks I circle and say, this could be the week. He leads laps, he contests, and he never does. Usually he makes mistakes, takes himself out. He just never, I'm getting tired of it, Jarrett. What do you think?
I mean, at the start of the season, especially after Coda, I was like, maybe there's steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
He
same.
competed for the win there. And of course, I had my fun trolling on Twitter about at Kyle Busch's expense, because let's be honest, like a driver of his caliber should be better than that. And I had Kyle Busch fans, why are you acting like this? But don't act like, this is towards Brad Keselowski, or, it's a hateful junior fan. And it's like, oh, okay, it's been 8 years since he retired. I think I'm past the hatefulness. It's just Kyle Busch makes it too easy. He makes it too easy anymore. He is a shell, a husk of his former glory, his former self. If you had told me in 2019, as I'm standing my happy ass on the front stretch at Homestead, watching him on stage, and then also watching everyone looking back and forth between Kyle and one of the Monster Girls, I'm sitting there thinking, man, this dude is on fire. He has got everything bad past him. This is the beginning of him. Like, this is the Kyle Busch era. And then it just went straight downhill. Like, the RCR thing, I think, just sped it up at this point. Sure. And the fact that he's stuck there another year, I don't see a happy ending.
The funny thing is, Jarrett, you and I equally went to Justin Champagne's Twitter over the weekend and found that video and used it for different drivers. Mine was Matt Crafton. Yours was Kyle Busch, who's actually in that video. So he's already in that stage where he's in the video of washed up drivers.
The washed up drivers compilation. Yeah, no, it's just, I will say this. I'll give Kyle Busch credit. I saw Chase Elliott in an interview today said that Busch did reach out and apologized for collecting him in that wreck. So I thought that was a good gesture, very mature of Kyle Busch, who is sort of one of the elder statesmen, one of the leaders by example now in the NASCAR Cup Series. So respect that. I see a super chat here from Fred Dog 81, and we will get to the super chats shortly. We've seen them. We will react to them in a bit. Appreciate the support. But he says, yes, Eric, embrace the Kyle Busch hate. Join us. I don't hate the guy.
No,
it's just hard not to point out all of his faults right now. The constant unforced errors on pit road, the lack of speed, that falls almost as much on the team. It's just all around bad deal for that number 8 team right now. And yet they could wipe all those troubles away with a win at Daytona Saturday
we're
night.
Also millennial NASCAR fans. We get through pain and hardships with memes and jokes. That's how we deal with this, okay?
Yeah. Kyle Busch was leading that final overtime restart at Daytona 1 year ago. So you never know. I mentioned Chase Elliott got wrecked. That allowed William Byron, who finished 12th, fine evening for Byron. He locks up the regular season championship with 1 week to go. He's one of very few drivers who truly have nothing to lose at Daytona this Saturday night, can just go for it, try to get some more playoff points. Jarrett, William Byron, only 2 wins so far this year, but very consistent. How would you judge his overall season? And do you see him as, right now, this isn't our official prediction. This isn't picks week, let's say. That's next week. Would he be in your championship 4 off the top of your head right now?
Yes, because this team gets better. This team starts hot and finishes hot, and then they lull in the summer.
Great
and the
point.
lull was a lot higher this year. So I think that he should be viewed as a much bigger threat than people are making him out to be. I think he will for sure be in the mix at Martinsville in the round of 8. If he hasn't already won one of those races anyway. I believe has he won at Vegas?
I think he has. I think he did a couple of years ago.
Because if that's the case, then I mean he's won it. If he's won Vegas, I know he runs well there. He has. Okay. He runs well at super speedways. Obviously, look at his win this year. His the Daytona 500
or his win last year, or
his win last year, and in Martinsville we've seen him. And
that's a good point.
There
in Iowa.
Yeah. Like I'm just saying, like I think it lines up very well for him, and the way that team normally finishes the year. I think that they might be a little bit better than people are expecting.
What do you think, Danny? Do you think William Byron, regular season champion Byron, is a serious champ 4 threat?
Yes, I think so, because he and his team know how to perform when the lights are the brightest. That's just all I'll say.
It's team, man. Driver don't matter.
This is a team.
That's driver doesn't matter.
This team knows how to capitalize when the moment is the largest.
I can't. I mean, I think I have to agree. It's going to sound really boring, but I think he has to be a championship 4 pick right now. Just he's made it the last 2 years, and he wasn't the regular season champion either of those years. So I mean, something says the consistency is better this year, and they've shown recently they can still pop and win any given week. So William Byron's statement to clinch that a whole race early. Do we need a playoffs for the regular season so we don't have guys clinching a whole race early?
I don't know, man. If they got to run 15th to try and win it, that's just not right. That shouldn't happen.
I mean, I can't believe William Byron's just going to ride around for 400 miles this Saturday night. That doesn't sit right with me.
I'll say this for Daytona, looking forward for a moment. I'm intrigued by this because pretty much everyone's just going to go for broke. There's nobody really points racing. There's a little bit. And we'll talk about not the cut line, but the like shadow cut line, if you will. Like there might be a little points racing there, but that's 2 guys out of a 40 car field. We got a full field this week. So everybody's going to either be going for broke, help them, or there's going to be people helping out with team orders or whatnot. Like I have a feeling this is going to be a much more chaotic race than the last couple of super speedways. Plus, this is usually a better one than the 500 at this rate.
All I know is all 3 of them guys need to help the 48 right now, because a couple of years ago, Byron got lucky that the caution come out and the 48 didn't pass him in time in that 500. The 5 passed Bowman right at the end of Miami this year, and Elliott, instead of drafting his teammate ahead, just swooped in and pushed him out of the way at Echo Park. And they all 3 about owe him at some point now.
But I will say William Byron has left teammates out to dry in the draft before.
I know it.
Race.
I know it.
I would not be trusting him. And you know what? And I said it then, and everyone was like, "No, you're wrong." I love William Byron's, screw you. I'm going to go get the win and I'll apologize later attitude. Like, I love that.
Of Bowman's 3 teammates, the 24 is the one that I least expect to help him.
And he's the one that should, honestly, like, unless the win is there for the taking. I feel like Byron, that should be his job. I don't know.
But if the win is there for the taking in front of his teammates, the one in front, why do you do that?
If they go to line, then Bowman still gets in on the. I'm just going to flash this on screen now while I'm thinking about it.
No, we can talk about this. So this is really the battle that matters, because if there's a new winner, the line here is a little slightly jarring, but if there's a new winner, Bowman would be out unless he can leapfrog Reddick, and there's a 29-point difference between Bowman and Reddick.
If either one of those 2 gets in a wreck at the start, they're essentially out. Maybe
they're at the mercy of the field at that point.
Well, what's the gap to Busher? I don't know what that is.
It's 60 points, and the most you can make out without winning is like 54. So
so basically they're in without a new winner.
Yeah. Without a new winner, they both make it. If there is a new winner, 29-point difference, and that's Gee, I know Reddick, it wasn't his fault. He got wrecked this weekend. That sucks. But man, he has bled a lot of points over the course of this season, frankly. I mean, he hasn't won a race.
It's funny. I was literally talking about this last week. I was like, he's like 57 or whatever it was in front of Bowman. That gap shrunk a lot. And I said, if we get a new winner, suddenly he's in this conversation. Now here we are, a week later, he's in that conversation.
It seems like it. I didn't expect Suarez and Gibbs wrecking Reddick when Reddick had maybe the best car. That's tough.
I'll say too, if somehow those two are 1-2 on the last lap, I guarantee neither of them pull out until they get near the line to try and win. Because if one of them wins, it locks the other in. So it's like in the old words of Darrell Waltrip, maybe there might be a little co-opetition between them if it turns out that way towards the end, because with the gridlock and all, like it could be just 2 lanes.
That's what I want to see. This is the scenario I want. Overtime, Daytona, Saturday night, Coke Zero Sugar 400, front row, inside Tyler Reddick, outside Brad Keselowski. No, scratch that. Ryan Preece, the Rocket Man. Behind Tyler Reddick is his frenemy Alex Bowman, who has no choice but to push his rival to the win, because otherwise Brad Keselowski is going to push his teammate Ryan Preece to the win.
And into the sky because he's going airborne again.
Hopefully that little flap they added to the A post makes that not happen. But that's the dream scenario from a drama, from a theatrical standpoint. RFK versus a Toyota Chevy forced to team up. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. You're forced to team up with with adversaries. It's great cinema. That's what we should be hoping for. That's what I'm rooting for.
And Cody Ware wins at Daytona.
Damn it!
Oh I swear, Cody Ware is like the nightmare scenario where it's like we're having all these good vibes going in. We're probably going to have a race that's crazy. And if Cody Ware somehow wins this damn thing, it is all going to be a nuclear bomb for
Do not get me wrong. I would be very happy to see Cody get his first win. But that would finally be the straw that breaks the camel's back in terms of fans being totally done with this playoff system, I think.
I wouldn't, and it's not for the reason y'all think. It isn't because of the playoffs. It isn't because I don't like Cody Ware. It's because I bet $10 on him to win Daytona a couple of years ago, and he ran like third, and I would have won $100,000 if he won. That's how crazy the odds were. And I'm like, it's Cody Ware. Something could happen. It could rain in Daytona. It did rain in Daytona. It rained while it was sunny at Daytona. He almost came out with the lead. And then, he didn't win. So, no, I don't want Cody Ware to win, because then I'd realize I put my money on the wrong damn year.
Jared holding that grudge for years.
Hey, man, bigger grudge than me as a junior fan with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch never cost me $100,000 off of $10.
Before we move on, a couple more shout outs. We didn't touch on Penske too much. We mentioned Blaney. We mentioned Logano, 3rd and 4th. Good run for Penske, which I needed to see that from them, because these short flat tracks, that's been their bread and butter. We haven't seen them win one of those this year. They came close Saturday night. Shout out Austin Cindric, 5th. Good top 5 for him. First top 5 in a while. Really first top 5 in a while for him and Joey Logano, frankly. Larson, 6th. Daniel Suarez, he triggered one of the wrecks, but he finished 7th. And Josh Berry, 8th. Wanted to mention those guys. Let's talk TV ratings. This is where the conversation's going to settle down a little bit, because this was one of the lowest. We were in our group chat when this news broke, and it's like, this might be the lowest rating for an as scheduled cup race I've seen. 0.75, not even 1, a sub 1.0 rating for Saturday night's cup race on USA Network. Only 1.39 million viewers. A lot of Xfinity races have come close to hitting that mark this year. A rough night for the Cup Series from a viewership standpoint. This is down 37% from the same race, which was on a Sunday night 1 year ago. It's down 42% from the Sunday afternoon race at Richmond 2 years ago. It's the lowest watched scheduled race we could find in the last 30 plus years. Is it safe to say there will be fewer Saturday night races going forward? I know this race is still going to be Saturday night next year. They already announced.
I would not be surprised if they changed it in a month or two, because they've done that before.
We're going to be talking about the schedule later. We only have 3 night races on the Cup Series schedule next year on a Saturday night, I should say.
So I had put something on X. I keep remember that X about this, about how it's like Sunday nights are going to have to be the way to go, right? And a lot of people are like, marketing needs to be fixed, and cross promotions. And I agree with all of that, but the thing is that that's a problem across the board. That's not just a Saturday night problem. And then I had somebody put, because I got all these comments, and it's like, again, I have a packet going back to 2002 right here of all of the TV ratings, so I can actually look through it all. And people are like, that wasn't a problem in the 2000s. It was a problem in the 2000s. The viewership was noticeably down for when they would go on Saturday nights, especially with like Phoenix and Richmond. It was like 1 or 2 million lower than all the other races before and after. And then the races after that would be affected. It's statistically proven that Saturday night races do not pay off the way that people would want. And I think NASCAR gets hit harder than a lot of other sports because in the fall, your core base is going to be probably watching the college football side because it caters more to that side. But for the rest of the year, though, Saturday nights are short track nights for race fans. A lot of NASCAR fans go to the local short tracks, and we'll look at the schedule too. Richmond next year is not just going against your local short track. It's going against some pretty hefty competition, I'd say.
Yeah, going up against the Knoxville Nationals. To your point there, Jared, yeah, maybe if they can, if there's any chance NBC would go along with it, pushing that race to Sunday evening next year would solve a couple of problems potentially. But yeah, ratings not good. On a more uplifting note, the famous iceberg poll ratings were quite positive this week. 14,000 viewers voted on Jarrett's poll. Was the Cookout 400 a good race? 44% voted great. As a matter of fact, 39% agreed it was a good race. That's 83% positive. 13% said it was average, and only 4% of respondents said it was a bad race. So one of the more positive reviewed races in quite some time. Jarrett, what were some of the top comments underneath your poll?
Well, real quick, I'll say that this was the top Richmond race ever polled. So nice. Very positive. It's also the first race over 80% since Atlanta. And sounds right. I don't know if you could hear that, but like when I roll my mouse, it actually sounds like a gun goes off kind of. Right?
I do not hear it whatsoever.
Good.
My mic's doing
won't demonetize us.
But when it comes to the like short tracks all time, this race actually is tied for 11th out of, let's see, 37 polled. So a pretty positive, even in the grand scheme of things on this. First comment was from the NWP Pick Monkey.
That's a meme.
That's a new one.
That's a new one. Yeah. Positive, negative, or meme.
Definitely a meme. And I'm going to guess it might have even just said a monkey.
A meme.
It says blue collar win from a golden spoon driver.
Brutal.
I just want to address, we never said this. That blue collar team, they finally found some race cars. This is incredible.
No longer in trouble, period.
Looking through some of the comments here, top voted one was from Blue Jimmy, who I see in the chat right now.
Hey.
Who said, I don't know what's more hard to believe, the fact that Austin Dillon won a race legitimately, or the fact that we just had one of the greatest short track races in the next gen era. To me, this race felt like, probably a Gen 5 Richmond race. Like I liked it.
I even kind of agreed with, I think you even mentioned like mid 2000s. Like it felt like a Gen 4 Richmond race from our childhood to some extent. I agreed with that.
I missed this Richmond. Hamlin Fanatic said, get this redemption narrative out of here. It's not like he ran out of gas leading or something last year. He won off of terrorism. He finally earned a win in year 12. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, I think you could argue he earned a win last year if Ricky Stenhouse doesn't destroy Ryan Preece for no reason with 2 to go. He wins that race going away. But no, redemption, the word redeem, to redeem yourself for your past mistakes. Austin Dillon made a mistake. He shouldn't have driven like an animal on the last restart. He paid the price. And so now he's got redemption. I think people, let me look up. You can keep going. I'm going to look up the definition of the word redemption. Am I losing my mind?
Kyle here says, after the races recently with no passing and fuel saving, that was a great freaking race. Elizor said, make all short tracks night races. 9811 Deet says there's no excuse for Richmond having only one date on the schedule. For decades, it was one of the best races on the circuit. Then it takes a few years to figure out the new car and they lose a date. Bull. I'm going to push back. I think Richmond struggled for a while before the next gen. And there's a reason that this got a date taken rather than Martinsville or Bristol.
This is one of those that, we noticed as a good race because absence does make the heart grow fonder with Richmond, I believe.
So the definition of redemption, the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil.
See,
I would consider
he's no longer a sinner. He's been saved, everybody.
I would say what he did in 2024 was sinful, was arguably evil, and so he got redempted. Boom! It was
Austin Dillon has met Jesus, everybody.
Thank you, Oxford English Dictionary or wherever this Google AI ripped this from.
So we're gonna do something different for the gutter. I decided to choose from the 3 gutter comments to see which one was the best one, and didn't disappoint.
Oh boy!
Rather than us just going through a few, we're like, man, whatever. I don't know about that. Like, or that's a gutter comment. Let's actually have some good gutter comments and choose from.
All right, juicy.
Yeah.
So for the gutter comment, someone online using YouTube is the name of the profile.
Very anonymous.
I really don't get the hate for Jamie Little. I don't think she's that bad. I just think you all are misogynist and sexist.
Hit this with the big word.
It is not that reason why we're not enjoying it.
Were they around during the Vince Welsh criticism? Because we bullied Vince Welsh kind of the same way.
We've been equal opportunity bully on people's commentary skills.
Yeah.
But that was the poll.
Nice. Well, that is the famous iceberg poll. Subscribe to the iceberg. You can click his channel down in the description below so you see that poll in your inbox every weekend after the Cup race. We're making good time tonight, which is good because we have a lot to get to in the second half of this show before our first super chat stage break coming up shortly. Really do appreciate all of the support from you watching at home. Let's talk about the truck race real quick. Corey Heim wins his 7th race of the season. It's Heim time, Jarrett.
It's Heim time, baby.
Corey Heim gets it. He wasn't the dominant truck, though. I think some would say that was maybe even Ty Majeski. It was kind of encouraging to see a Thor Sport truck finally look like a legit contender. Yep. About time, right?
Yeah, I picked him, so I was just like, oh my god, everyone bullied me, and I was right. And then
it's very
88.
Very, very ironic. What's the RCR thing? The timing of this announcement could not be any worse.
Yeah, you get wrecked by the 88, and then the very next week it's announced said driver of the 88 is retiring, and you will be replacing him. That was in the news this week.
It's bittersweet, but it's just time.
Yeah, not Heim time. It's Crafton retirement from full-time racing time.
Maybe
a couple years overdue
for a year or two.
Yeah.
In a way, though, it's crazy because I was looking into his career and I was like, wow, he literally spent every year in trucks in that 88. Not always Menards, but in the 88, except for one where he drove the 6 for Kevin Harvick.
That's right. Yeah, but the Crafton 88 with Menards goes back over 2 decades. Like that is, I mean, they said in their press release, and I didn't fact check it, but they said it was the oldest, longest running primary partnership in NASCAR, at least actively. Yeah, they're probably right. And it sounded like based on one of Majeski's statements that Menards is sticking around, which is big for the team.
Doesn't surprise me. The Menard family loves NASCAR.
And they're Midwest. I think they're from Wisconsin. Majeski's from Wisconsin. So that actually might even, I don't know where Matt Crafton's from, but that might make even more sense.
I need to get the jingle from Menards, like as one of our sounders, because that is not just a jingle of a store. That is the national anthem.
Money at Menards.
That is the national anthem of the Midwest. Like, wow. I'm sorry, that is like, go anywhere from like Iowa through about Indiana up to Minnesota and down to Southern Illinois. And that's our national anthem.
The crazy thing is Menards has such a huge presence in NASCAR. But if you ever look at a map of Menards stores and compare it to a map of NASCAR tracks, they are not even close. They're slowly getting closer. We actually, Jarrett, you and I have a Menards kind of close to us, about
We
an
do?
hour away in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
No way.
Yep.
Whoa.
There's one in Bowling Green.
So,
Time to save big money.
slightly off topic. I won't go too far on this. So I saw this thing. It's if you've ever seen the account Midwest First Everybody, and it says, when you're not able to buy enough things to keep your baby interested and get them just to sort of fall asleep, you take them to the Menards light area because they'll just look up at it. And I was like, I have to try this. But no, I mean, I want to
Bowling
say,
Green.
I want to say on the Crafton point, I think he gets overhated because he's made an ass out of himself a few times very recently. He has not performed well on top of that. But I mean, he's a defining driver of the Truck Series who's been through the Grizzly veteran era, who's been through the crazy, wild, rich kid money era, who's been through all of these different eras of the Truck Series. He's 11th all time on the Trucks wins list between Johnny Benson and Ted Musgrave. And he's ahead of the likes of like Kevin Harvick, John Hunter Nemechek, who was really good back in the day, Timothy Peters, Bobby Hamilton. Like
Timothy Peters.
I know that's a name. That's a name drop. We'll get one Timothy Peters name drop a season.
That's a hint.
That's a hint. We already did that one, but I
yeah.
think he should get his due respect for what he's done, even if he did cost my pick a win.
Yeah, I think it's a shame we still never pieced together the full Nick Sanchez story. We have multiple eyewitness accounts, and that's largely it. But that was an ugly moment from what I could tell for Matt Crafton and his later legacy. But you look at his broad body of work, back-to-back truck champion, 3-time champion total. Like, I would not be surprised if in 5 years or 3, whatever it is, whatever the eligibility rules are, I would not be surprised if his name is on the Hall of Fame ballot. I don't think he gets in. Only 15 wins in 25 years or whatever. To me, that's
525 starts or something
like
that.
You could give him like the Iron Man award for being in the series, in the sport as long as he has. That is commendable. But I don't know that he ever rose. Like, his success was never, eye-popping, I would say, outside of the champion. But even his like last championship was like the least interesting championship run in NASCAR history. So I think he should be remembered as one of, like you said, one of the defining characters of the Truck Series. Went through multiple different eras, has seen different evolutions of the sport, should get honored for that, or at least get recognized for that in the future. But I don't know if he'll ever be full on a NASCAR Hall of Famer. I think the line will get drawn somewhere, but it is the end of an era to see Crafton out of the 88 after this year.
I'd probably still put him into the Hall of Fame discussion. I mean, he's been very serviceable over the years. He's 49 now. Hey, don't forget the time he ran the Daytona 500 in place of Kyle Busch either.
Yeah.
The thing is that the Truck Series is definitely not going to be as valued as a Hall of Fame worthy accomplishment as like O'Reilly Series, I guess as we'll call it, Grand National, whatever you want to call it, and of course Cup. And so you have to also add on top of that the competition he'll go against on the ballot. There's some pretty damn good drivers that he's going to go against. He'll probably be on the ballot, but he's probably going to have to go against, say, Kyle Busch when he retires, probably sooner rather than later. Denny Hamlin,
So my thing is simple: is Jack Sprague was on the ballot, I think, the last 2 years with 3 truck championships, twice as many wins, and he hasn't gotten in. If he's not in, there's no chance Matt Crafton's getting in. So until he gets in, I don't think Crafton has a shot.
Yeah, because Sprague is tied for 3rd all time.
Corey Haim has more truck wins than Matt Crafton.
Hall of Famer, baby.
I will say Ron Hornaday with his more he had success across a lot of the series, but more the Truck Series. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's not yet. I would say Todd Bodine needs to make the Hall of Fame at some point as well.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
There's probably 3 or 4 truck guys immediately I could think of that should be in before him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying put him in anytime soon, but at some point,
It might be one of those like, I guess he should be.
One of these days when Eric is on the voting panel of the Hall of Fame.
I don't think I'd vote Matt Crafton unless Jack Sprague gets in, or Hornaday's in. But
are slim.
Yeah. Well,
I
this
love
is
how
where
we're trying to
NASCAR.
I like how we're trying to prop him up and we're still like bashing it.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
We're
Sorry,
such
Mr.
assholes.
Crafton.
Hey,
Yeah.
I will say this. I didn't notice until people were mentioning this. Apparently he's winning a lot. Because apparently he's 49, but apparently he's got a girlfriend the same age as Bill Belichick's girlfriend. So
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe they have an app for that.
all right, Matt Crafton. That will end that discussion abruptly. We'll instead look into the near future at the Craftsman Truck Series playoff grid. Only 2 Thor Sport trucks made it. Shout out Jake Garcia, snuck in, thanks in large part to Stuart Friesen bowing out due to injury. But Corey Heim with a 62-point cushion in round 1. Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum, Ty Majeski, the defending champ, Grant Enfinger, and Raja Karuth are currently above the cut line. Caden Honeycutt, now driving the Friesen 52, is 2 points out, and Jake Garcia is -3. Truck Series playoffs begin after Daytona. Are they in Portland? Where's the trucks? Darlington is their first playoff race. All right. Thank you, Jarrett. Truck Series playoffs. We will make our playoff predictions probably next week when the Cup field is set as well. So I'm not going to put anyone on. I didn't give it much thought yet, so I'm not going to put anyone on the thought or on the spot who their championship for. I think we all would probably say Heim is the favorite, but championship for anything can happen. We'll make those predictions.
4th in points with 12 wins.
I mean, the way this thing works, I
possible.
won't put it past Heim to not make the championship 4 either. You never know.
Let's
Harvick this thing.
that would be a dark day in this format's polarizing history, no doubt. Well, gentlemen, we are nearing that time. It's time for our first super chat stage break of the night. Going to get through a good chunk of these because we have gotten a ton of super chats this evening. Really appreciate your very generous support. We'll start with a couple here. I Stand with 2311 gets us started saying, boo Kevin Harvick and Alex Bowman. Everyone type hashtag I Stand with 2311. I'm sorry, Danny. I had to say it. They paid us. Then Herbert the Prevert says, you got to use the voice. Boo AB. I stand with 2311. All right.
I stand with 2311.
So glad I don't have to read this.
Rusted Valor with a couple of super chats here. If the Cup Series were to get a new title sponsor like Xfinity to O'Reilly, who would you most want to see in that title sponsor role for the Cup Series? I kind of like that. It's just the Cup Series, but if I had to pick someone, should I say it for the meme, for the Chicken Weekly podcast? The Canes Cup. The Canes Cup Series.
I'd push Busch Beer up there by themselves and just say the Busch Beer Cup Series.
Ooh, the Busch Series becomes the Busch Cup Series. That would be quite the evolution.
The Busch Cup.
Also from Rusted Valor, NASCAR Cookout Cup Series. I mean, they sponsor every other race. Might as well just make them the title sponsor. That does sound like a stop motion channel. Hunter Nixon Fishing says, I love the schedule next year, especially Chicagoland and Atlanta being back to back. The Dover All-Star race makes no sense. I would rather just have it back at Charlotte. I think I agree on both fronts. Hunter Nixon Fishing. Then from Napa Racing Fan, Crafton's greatest accomplishment was winning the 2019 phony playoff title with no wins. Should he and will he get into the Hall of Fame? I vote yes. Well, we just had that conversation and Danny says yes. I think Jarrett and I are maybe a little more lukewarm on that. We'll have to wait and see how things develop.
I say yes eventually. There's an asterisk there.
Yeah, fair enough. Make him wait. Make him sit on it. A little nervous. Make him sweat for a few years. From Andrew Swaney, thank you for the super chat. Dover becoming the All-Star race this year. We heard Eric's thoughts. Anyone else? We'll talk schedule in the second half, but in one word, gentlemen, what's your word to describe Dover All-Star?
Huh?
Y'all made like the exact same noise. I said word. Y'all made like a sound.
What?
Hello?
Ross Crashdane says, this was Austin Dillon's first win on speed. Wait, what drugs was he on for the other 5? That's funny, Ross Crashdane. Pat, thank you for the 5, says evil playoff format, in-season tournament, but it's the playoffs. We don't need that. We don't need head-to-head matchups in NASCAR.
No.
Come on now.
Ty Dillon champion.
Ooh, no, don't even Don't even tease us. Blake, thank you for the 5. I secretly hope it rains on Saturday night and the race is pushed until Sunday because I'm getting
No.
Married Saturday afternoon.
Oh,
Also, happy Dillon won. Congratulations, Blake. Or I guess good luck, and then congratulations on everything. That'll be that's very exciting. But I love Danny's reaction there.
I'm going to Disney the next night, so I hope that they get it in.
Yeah, you guys have two very different goals. I'm going to do a few more though, Jarrett, just because we're a little ahead of schedule, and I know we've gotten a lot. Don't want to save too many for the very end. Joseph, thank you for the 5. Sorry, Danny, but I'll be at Daytona on the Alex Bowman Hate Watch. Damn, I wonder who their favorite driver is. I can't tell by their username. 9153, 9153. I don't know. Dr. Elk, rumor has it Pop lets Austin Dillon sleep in the race car bed for a night or two after winning a race as a reward. That's crazy. That's crazy comment right there. Indy Carson with the 5 says, hey, NWP, Danny, have an awesome time in Daytona. Eric, congrats on 250K. Thank you. Nice job on the O'Donnell interview. Also, thank you. Iceberg, congrats on Chicagoland returning.
Woohoo!
Worked something in there for Jared too. That's great. He's really riding high. That's the
Like I was like, congrats on making that happen, Jared.
Yeah.
It was a hard process, but you know what? We worked it through, and you know, I paid off a few people, a few politicians.
You didn't even have to make a Say the Speedway page.
I don't go that crazy.
Did it the old-fashioned way. Word of mouth, sheer force. I'll do a few more here. From Pat, says, in before Cody Ware wins his way into the playoffs. Don't put that evil on us.
Nightmare.
Antar 2411 says, glad to be back after 3 weeks in Europe. So I didn't have to watch, or so I don't have to watch you guys at 3 a.m. anymore.
That's Antar Das. Actually, he's the new system. You don't recognize the name.
Yeah. I can see the username is AD. So yeah, Antar Das, good to see you again. Also, I would like Mamba Smith to defend this 2016, 18, 20, 22, 23, and 24 playoffs. I'm sure he'd find a way.
He defended a couple of those on our show in 2019. It was really fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, he was an early podcast guest.
I don't think he's gonna come back on anytime soon.
I think he's felt it from the fan base enough in the last week.
I don't think he thinks we're the best team to win.
Bobby Blair, love the Texans logo as always. Nothing but respect for Austin Dillon. Always believed in his talent. This is one of the few times in his career he's never had the best car, and he delivered. He gets way too much crap when RCR is just a dumpster fire. I mean, Austin Dillon's won a championship in trucks, Xfinity. Probably not going to ever win one in Cup, but he's got a Daytona, 600. He's got some big trophies in his collection. He's had a solid career, all things considered.
It's crazy, though, that right now, the two people who statistically have the best chance to win a championship in all 3 series are teammates, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch.
Gavin Adcock says, the only way a Dover All-Star race makes sense to me is if they take a big swing at the car, since Dover is one of the worst tracks with this car. I agree, but the team shut anything down for North Wilkesboro. I'm not confident they'll go along with something for Dover. We'll do 2 more here. Jason Carney, 34-33, says, if Reddick DNFs and Bowman gets 15 stage points, not that hard at Daytona, he could pass Reddick plus 29 and still get in with a top 15 finish. It's going to be tight between those two for sure. I still love my idea that they have to work together to stop somebody else from winning their way in. I think that'd be so dramatic.
You know, the stage points is interesting, but I just don't know what strategy you go with in this race. Do you try to stay in the back and stay out of trouble, anticipating something, or do you want to be in the front and let it happen behind you?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they choose to do, especially the Roush guys who are all in the same boat. Those 3 might just like stick together the whole race. Finally, here we'll wrap up with this one, and then we'll get to the rest of the super chats later in the show, I promise. From NWP Pick Monkey, as a Virginia native, I'm glad we finally had another good race. Hopefully Daytona can get over the super speedway shortcomings. I think we all agree with that sentiment. We all share that same hope and desire.
Thank you, Monkey.
Monkey. Thank you, guys, for the super chats. Really do appreciate your generous support. If we didn't get to yours yet, apologies. We will get to them at the end of the show, but we got a lot of super chats in the first hour. Let's move on, folks. We had a brief storm cell move through North Texas earlier today, but I think it's making a return here for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast Lightning Round. Jarrett, hit us. What do we got tonight?
Let's see if I can get this done in under a minute. Real fast,
Ooh.
lightning.
Do, do, do,
Of
do,
course,
do,
we have the NWP channel, the at NWP clips. We put our first actual clip up there of John's big boys.
Big
The
boys
NASCAR channel.
in Michigan.
The NASCAR channel is now available on Roku TV, so you'll be able to get it on there as well. There were over 30 people and I hate this word so much, influencers that have been arrested for trespassing on the Kentucky Speedway property that is not abandoned and is still owned by SMI. Don't be a dumbass. Don't trespass. Just want to put that PSA out there. Also,
what condition is Kentucky in if these
Not very
kids or
good.
people thought that it was abandoned?
I did see a YouTube video or a TikTok or something like that about this. I don't know, Jared. I'm not trying to derail this too much.
Tick. We're trying to get him. We can talk about it in a minute. Let me just get it. I want to thank everybody for their support of the NWP 400 this past week. It was one of the most watched we've ever done. I appreciate it a ton. And next week we will be on my channel.
Thrilling photo finish in that one too.
I think we got it. But back to what Danny said.
All I was going to ask is, do we know if these 30 people were all associated in one going, or is this multiple people?
Multiple.
Okay.
Wow. There's actually a video, a pretty long and extensive video with a bunch of noobs who know nothing about racing, because it just annoyed the hell out of me watching it, who filmed themselves trespassing with their faces on camera, with their names.
Solid.
And where they were coming from,
and their social security numbers. Did they have real
ID?
They might
as well bent over and coughed at that rate. They just basically let everything out there. Like, I'm sorry, people are too comfortable on the internet. That was the lightning round, by the way.
Fair enough. Chat, how many people watching this tonight tuned in for the NWP 400 this past Sunday? Because that was a thrilling finish. The whole race was great. Jarrett, you and John in the booth, phenomenal job as always. Kept the energy up. I can't imagine doing that for 3-4 hours straight, however long y'all went. Insane stuff.
I gotta admit, I was rooting for Trooper there at the end. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
That was
a lot of folks.
Can't call him a liar, but he is a trooper.
That was the first last lap pass in NWP 400 history. Braden Movick, the winner, he's in there as the People's Champ 42 in the chat. He's been in here tonight.
Where is he at? There he is. Yep.
His third e-ticket win, $1,000 to his name.
He's gonna be celebrating by going to Daytona this weekend, I reckon.
That's a big purse for a sim race. Damn.
I would reckon it's probably the biggest independent purse out there for a big iRacing event.
Hey, this was the 5th annual NWP 400. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Fun to be a part of it. Jarrett, obviously, he and John basically take ownership of the whole thing. We have great drivers who put on a great show, and it's always fun to see the fan reactions and response every single year. So good stuff there. Appreciate those of you who tuned in. Let's get to the headlines, folks. How about that? A lot of news this week. We'll get to the schedule stuff in a moment, but first and foremost, the Xfinity Series is going to become the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year. O'Reilly Auto Parts has signed a multi-year title sponsorship deal with NASCAR. They will be the title sponsor of the secondary series. Going to take some time getting used to O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Xfinity, not the easiest word in the world to say, but at least it was one word. I don't know. O'Reilly Series, will that catch on?
I mean, technically Xfinity, I think could be referred to as Xfinity Internet as well, but I'm just going to call it the O'Reilly Series. That's easier than adding into Auto Parts. The Auto Parts is a technical part of the name. It is not necessary for me to refer to them.
NOAPS.
Nopes. Love it.
The funny thing is, the actual company name is O'Reilly Auto Parts, but what does everyone know them as? O'Reilly's. That's all we know them as. It's not technically an S in there, but we know it is O'Reilly's.
I never noticed that.
I think Steve O'Donnell said that they were going to continue, by the way, like Xfinity as fast as Xfinity Internet. They're going to do something with O'Reilly like that, where the drivers are pushing it to. I would love if one day a driver just got pissed and they're just like, yeah, we blew an engine today. It was about as dependable as Auto Parts from O'Reilly's. Because they won't say it right. They'll say O'Reilly's.
Yep. Quick way to get in trouble.
That's like Kyle Busch, like as he's finishing his career, he's like, I don't care.
So now everyone in NASCAR can admit that we have AT&T fiber because it's cheaper and better.
It is. It is. God, when they were like, it's as fast as Xfinity internet, I'm like, damn, that's like as
I made the
slow as
switch to AT&T a long time ago, guys.
Gosh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I do like the green logo, though. I'm glad that we're still
It
going to have,
pops.
the Cup Series is, kind of black and white, or maybe make it yellow if you want. And then, Trucks is red. So you still have that third primary. It's not primary color technically, but like third big bold color gives it its own unique look, unique identity. One thing when I talked to Steve O'Donnell this week that he mentioned was taking advantage of the fact that O'Reilly Auto Parts have so many brick and mortar stores, thousands across the country, and many of them in race markets. And so doing promotional, doing activations, driver appearances, giveaways, that kind of stuff sounds like it's on the table. So certainly could kind of rally the Xfinity Series race markets more than Xfinity does currently. Like nobody wants to go to their local Xfinity store, and maybe nobody wants to go to O'Reilly Auto Parts either, because that usually means there's something wrong with your car. But I'm just saying, like, it's a little.
But I could see like a bunch of O'Reilly Auto Parts stores, like for Nashville Super Speedway weekend. We have one here in this town. We're gonna have I don't know, Justin Allgaier's here, everybody, from the O'Reilly series. Yeah, here he is.
You almost said Xfinity. We're
Yep.
going to have so much trouble with this.
It's going to be tough for a while.
Year. I will say, like, I had an O'Reilly that was in my hometown that we always went to all the time. And I when I think of that, when I think of O'Reilly, though, I think of a funny story. Well, it happened twice. But it was I sent in 2 separate times, one each, for my little cousins to go inside and go to the front desk and ask to get breaker fluid.
Oh no.
Or, brake light fluid, I believe it was.
No.
Did they fall for that? That's like the oldest trick in the book. That was like the first
they were like
TikTok
9.
prank.
They were like 9.
Oh,
I'm totally, I can, and maybe she'll go back, but I'm totally gonna do that to my daughter one
You
day.
made a 9-year-old go into O'Reilly Auto Parts by themselves?
Oh, it's the front desk is right after the door. I could see in there just fine.
I don't know. I guess it just that's funny. Hopefully they were laughed out of the store. I'd love the idea of like a burly O'Reilly worker
so red
humiliating a 9-year-old.
I will say, I just got curious. I looked up how many O'Reilly Auto Parts there is near Daytona International Speedway. There's 5 within a 15-minute drive.
Ooh, there should be a lot of activations.
Exactly. So that's one good thing I think about O'Reilly. More of a consumer. I mean, Xfinity's kind of, but like O'Reilly really is a consumer.
During my entire
store.
time with Xfinity Internet as my internet provider, I think I only ever went to one of their offices one time, and that was when I was returning my modem when I was done with their services. Yeah, you just do everything online. Here they are. Here's your internet. Bye.
You go to Xfinity to leave. That's it, basically it.
Well, that's the big difference here. Like, and I think that's what this series in particular has definitely missed. And honestly, NASCAR sponsorship, primary sponsorships have missed, is like Sprint. You're not really going to Sprint, and no one really used Sprint because it's not a thing anymore. Like,
Did
it's
anyone
literally
have those
doesn't
Nextel walkie-talkie things?
Oh, the ones that let the bleep.
Yeah,
I never had them, but I was like 8 at the time.
Yeah, it was before our time a little bit, but I'm asking in the chat.
Sprint, I think, got absorbed by Verizon in the end.
I think, or that, or
we're all going to get absorbed by, I don't know, Meta at one point and at some point in the future.
But like
I got my new YouTube phone, guys.
Yeah, well, Google's going to own us if they don't already.
Well, it's like they don't. Okay, so going back to it though, they don't really use the Truck Series one. Like Craftsman, like that is like a brand that you can you physically can use, interact with.
Craftsman 20 to go. When every time Jamie Little says Craftsman 20 to go, I get butterflies in my stomach. I get so excited.
Sorry. I should. but like on the other side though, Sprint, Nextel. Really didn't use those. Monster, you could go to the store and buy a Monster, but it wasn't around long enough to actually do anything with it. Xfinity, you call them or you don't want to be there. Like Nationwide, it's insurance. Like who the hell is like, oh boy, man, I get to talk to my insurance agent. Like, no, they're not doing that. But like the last time the series had anything where it was a brand that you could actually do something with, brand to customer right away, interaction, was Busch Beer. Before that, with the Cup Series, before Monster, it was Winston cigarettes.
Hey, everybody, let's destroy our lungs.
Yeah, like, so it's like they can say all the stuff that they got to do it. They actually have to have the integrations, the interactions, have people there, have cardboard cutouts everywhere. Like do things like that. Plaster NASCAR everywhere. It's a great marketing point. And I guarantee somebody that doesn't watch NASCAR will be like, hey, who is that behind the counter? Oh, that guy? Oh, that's Justin Allgaier. Like he races in the O'Reilly series.
Is that NASCAR Heat Evolution?
Is that NASCAR O'Reilly series I see there?
I will say it's a funny story that O'Reilly is in this situation now, because my wife's uncle, he actually at one time, I forget what his exact role was of O'Reilly. He did work for O'Reilly, and at a certain point, they used to pay a lot of money every year for I think the O'Reilly 200 at Bristol. It was a truck race, and then they had a huge banner associated with that, and then finally they just had to, they got quoted the price to do that again for another year, and it went up. It wasn't their budget, and admittedly O'Reilly just had to take a step back. And now it's funny though that here we are now, and they're going to be the title sponsor of a whole series.
Well, and I have a feeling the Xfinity turned to O'Reilly series, Grand National, if we'll stay neutral on this, the second tier series is getting paid handsomely for this, because at least because I had heard about this a bit ago, but it was sort of like a bidding war almost. There were like two options that I had heard that were interested, two different sponsors. It was this and Freeway Insurance. It's not the NASCAR Freeway series.
The Freeway series goes kind of crazy.
but I feel like we have to have one race a year on an actual freeway if we call it that.
But I think that one's going to end up.
Don't give them no ideas.
Sponsor, if I'm not mistaken. At least what I heard was they could go to Ty Dillon and colleague next year. So I don't know if that's getting announced or if anything changed there.
Wouldn't they stick with Suarez if he goes somewhere? Oh yeah. Anyway.
Well, the thing is, Suarez hasn't signed anywhere yet.
Yeah.
That might be why, is he might have lost some of that sponsorship money.
True.
So like, I have a feeling this is going to be a huge influx of money into the series. From what it sounded like I saw Tommy Joe Martins was pretty happy about it, among others. They would, someone like him would call it BS if it's like, man, this is terrible for the series. Like, we've seen him do that.
And I have to imagine, kind of like Camping World did, Xfinity had got on a few cars too. We might see a car or two get O'Reilly on them during this time too.
Yeah, I remember going to one of the earlier Xfinity races I went to at Texas Motor Speedway was often the O'Reilly 350. I think they even called it at one point like the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge or something at Texas Motor Speedway.
Right. There was
back in the day. So they've been around this, but that's what I love about this isn't as cool as it would have been to see Busch return, and it's the Busch series again. I would have loved that first and foremost, but they're already in the sport as a huge sponsor, a premier partner. O'Reilly wasn't. They've been in the sport on the fringes, but they've never stepped up in this capacity before. So it's cool that a new recognizable brand is taking this plunge. I think that's a good news. That's a good sign for the business of NASCAR and the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Well, gentlemen, the big news of the week, really, the big news today, the full 2026 NASCAR schedule is out. Jarrett throwing the graphics up on screen for our YouTube audience. I'm not going to read through every single race, but you can see the Cup schedule on your screen. The first 6 races, if you include Bowman Gray, are the exact same as they are this year. Daytona 500, February 15th. They've moved Darlington, the spring race, up a few weeks, I believe. Watkins Glen in May. That's a big change for the Cup Series, moving Watkins Glen out of its traditional summer, early fall slot. Coke 600 still kicks off Memorial Day weekend, and of course, Prime Video's portion. San Diego in June is on the Prime Video portion of the schedule. Sonoma now is the first TNT race in June. So if they bring the in-season challenge back, it won't be Atlanta this time. It'll be Sonoma to start things off, which is probably an improvement. North Wilkesboro has a points date now in July. I think Dale Jr., did he say that's going to be 400 laps, I believe?
Yes, it's the Window World 400.
Oh, very exciting. And then the playoffs look pretty similar, other than Homestead now is the finale once again. New Hampshire's out of the playoffs, but NASCAR did clarify that while they showed this as the current playoff format, 3 rounds, then the championship, etc., they clarified that there is still a chance the playoff format could change before next year. So that is still TBD. I skipped over Dover. That's the all-star race now. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's so forgettable. Nobody's going to care. I've already forgot about it.
I do want to follow up on the Dover point for a
Okay.
moment.
What do you have to say?
There's an interview with the track president of Dover. I got sent it over from Buddy J Pet on Twitter. Said that he's excited to welcome the All-Star race, all that, but he debunked the myth that Dover can't have lights because of the nearby Air Force Base. And this is from.
They just can't have lights because it's too expensive. It's cheap.
I mean, but I think the point is like because we had been told that, and we had seen like before, like people in NASCAR say that was the reason. If they can bring temp lights in, that's probably the way to go, because this would probably go head to head with Indy 500 qualifying. And like, I'm not a huge IndyCar fan, and even I'm like having that on, like if I'm double screening it, it's on one of those screens.
Good thing Kyle Larson's like they don't have to double.
Yeah, I mean, he would not be able to make that flight. This feels a couple years ago when SMI got Dover, and I had said,
and
like,
Nashville.
In Nashville, I'd said
Nashville's
like
came out ahead of the deal.
But I think it's because it's a better market, and it probably makes them more money with different activations, other things like that. But with Dover, I had worried that Dover was going to just be used as a pawn, that they'd probably take one of their dates away, which I believe did go to Nashville, which I'm okay with, but then that they would slowly phase it out. And I know a lot of longtime fans are comparing it to North Wilkesboro, like from 94, 5, 6. I don't know, man. I don't like the direction they've taken Dover personally.
I agree. I mean, Dover is not one of the best races on the schedule now, but it does still have a loyal Northeastern audience. I think 1 points race a year was more than fair. And the thing is, it's a concrete track that takes long runs to rubber in and for the racing to get good. So they're going to give it a race that usually has short runs, short stages, sprints.
Makes sense.
It makes no sense from that perspective, from the perspective that it's probably going to be a day race. All that makes sense is that it's SMI owned. And so they have to swap it with North Wilkesboro. I wish they'd put Spring Bristol in this slot personally.
Yeah, that probably would have been good. As the only one of us who has gone to Dover now, and Eric, I know you were talking about maybe wanting to add it to your list. Well, if you want to, you got to go for the All-Star race.
It sounds like time. The clock is ticking on this track.
So as the only one who's gone to Dover, I enjoyed my time at Dover. I thought the facility was nice. It had a very unique aspect of they had a large, like where the horse racing track was. It's all gravel, and you can just walk right around for that whole area. It's nice and open. There's no tunnel to get in. You have to go across the bridge to get in there, but you can walk around the gravel in there and see a wide open view of the backstretch. A lot of good places to see it from the infield, and plenty of stands, plenty of seating. It feels like a stadium in a sense, kind of like Bristol does when you're there. But I don't get all-star race vibes from my time there. I really don't.
No, it feels like Jarrett said, like it's a pawn. They wanted to get North Wilkesboro a points race. They did that. And I guess for whatever logistical reason, it made the most sense for them to swap it with Dover. Again, I feel like you just should have swapped Wilkesboro and Bristol and then done with it. But maybe there was a logistical reason they couldn't do that. I don't know. Jarrett, your track, your baby, Chicagoland. I know it's been reported on and rumored for weeks, months now, but now it's like official. Chicagoland is back. I think
it is.
There's no trucks, right? Is it just Xfinity Cup at Chicagoland?
And ARCA will be Friday night.
Yeah, and so it's July 4th weekend. I know this could interfere with some of your July 4th plans, but the Cup race is on July 5th. How do you feel about Chicagoland being back?
I'm ecstatic. I mean, it's just
I think once the feeling settles in that you're at Chicagoland, you'll get over the 4th of July stuff.
Well, no, we're going to go back for the 4th of July night.
He's going to be blowing shit up at 2 in the morning.
There is no way that, we'll look at the O'Reilly schedule in a bit. There's no way they'd be dumb enough to go against 4th of July fireworks. Like, I know I saw people like, why aren't they putting the Cup race on Saturday night? It's like, it's America's 250th anniversary, and go back and look at how many people watched the 2009 Daytona race when they tried that. It's not a smart move. I hope it's a Sunday night race, just because I think the track, no matter the conditions, have put on a really great race. I think they said they're going to put about $4 million into it.
Yeah.
And like I had talked about on here before, a lot of renovations to suites and amenities and different things like that. I don't see why they would do that if they didn't have long-term plans. Even if Chicago comes back next year and takes that date for a year or two, like Chicagoland, I think is in that long-term, just because for one, how it races, and two, you can't leave this market anymore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't know how we can do it, but man, I want to do a show with the three of us there if we can. That'd be
Let's
freaking
make it
awesome.
It would be
Would
very
love that.
cool.
Before we move on to the O'Reilly schedule, we glossed over also Watkins Glen in May. I've not been to upstate New York. I see comments from locals saying it's risky to run that race so early in the summer, or really it's still the spring. It can still be cold. It's very wet up there. This is also a little confusing to me. Like, the Charlotte Roval is still happening, apparently. To me, what's stopping NASCAR from pushing Watkins Glen back a few weeks like they did last year into early mid-September, have Watkins Glen be like where Gateway is. You still have a road course in the playoffs, and then the Roval just becomes the Oval, because frankly, the Charlotte Oval is a much better track with the next gen car. Moving Watkins Glen all the way up to May, that's such a break from tradition. I don't know. That track has had such loyal, solid fan and camping support. I worry that now is somewhat at risk, but I guess time will tell.
And it's Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, and Mother's Day weekend. That's risky to put one of your dates that's worked, one of your tracks that's worked for years, to change up their date so dramatically. That's risky to me.
I do just want to make one note here. Assuming SVG wins this year's Roval, and then that would get him to 6 wins at the end of this year. If he then wins COTA next year, finally, by week 3, he will be the active driver with the most. He will be tied the active driver with the most road course wins. When he wins Watkins Glen, goes to 8, he will be the active driver with the most road course wins. Then when we go to San Diego, he will tie Jeff Gordon for the most road course wins in all of NASCAR. And next week at Sonoma, he will take the record for the most road course wins in NASCAR.
The one thing I like about the way they put Watkins Glen in there is at least the road races are well spaced out. You know, you do have San Diego and Sonoma back to back, but at least it's like this year you had Mexico City, Chicago, Sonoma, and Watkins Glen, 4 road races within like a 2-month span. It's a lot. I felt like that at least isn't the case next year.
Well, a few other things I'll point out, that I either like or question, because I question the Watkins Glen Dover side of thing. I did.
Yeah, both of those are my biggest questions.
Well, like the Watkins Glen arguably can have, in the last 10 years has had more people than they did in NASCAR's heyday at the track. I don't get why we mess with that. And I said that with the playoff side, but it was only a few weeks. Like that's okay. A few other things. So I like the San Diego Sonoma side. It just makes logistical sense. Stay in the area longer. Generally, like stay on the same side of the coast. Of course, I love Chicagoland. I like Atlanta, which, by the way, Atlanta was confirmed today to be a Sunday night race. So it'll still be a night race.
That's good.
I hope Wilkesboro is, because that place would be boiling and there's no way to get out of the infield. So if somebody has a track. Well, if somebody has a heat stroke in the infield, they're going to have to stop the race to get the person across.
Yep.
Like that's, because there's not enough room for a helicopter to get in there. Like it just, that I hope is the case. The other thing that I questioned, why, and I get they're going back to Charlotte, but why not just put Vegas and Phoenix back to back? You'd make more logistical sense again being on the West Coast, just like the start of the season.
Or why not go Bristol, then Charlotte Roval nearby, then Kansas, then Vegas, then Phoenix, an easier way out to the west.
That totally makes sense.
And then you go Talladega, Martinsville, Homestead, kind of like a triangle of the South there.
Well, and I would also be A-okay. And I get that, we want to have the most variables possible, but if we're going to have Charlotte in there, which we have to, I know it's like, it's the home base. If we had 3 mile-and-a-half intermediates all in a row in one round, that'd be the best racing and probably a playoff round since the Gen 6 era when the short tracks were good.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, yeah. I didn't think about that. You would have 3 mile-and-a-half, which does sound good, but you want a little more variety in your playoff rounds. But We
Well,
also
and I'm
don't know
just-
if we also don't know if playoff rounds will exist this time next year. So
Well, that's the thing is, I think they talked. Steve O'Donnell mentioned it a bit in your interview with him, and then Ben Kennedy mentioned it a bit, like that they might testing dummy the Truck Series or O'Reilly, but probably would. They've tested stuff in the Truck Series before. I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same format next year in the top 2 series because they bring in the most viewers. I don't know if y'all have seen the truck ratings recently. Like, no one would know if they tried something different.
Yep.
Like, so,
Fair
but
enough.
overall, I give it a B- for the schedule. I think there's stuff that could be improved, but I think it's generally still pretty good.
I'm overall pretty content with it.
I would go B plus.
So
Yeah.
should we go to the O'Reilly series now? Oh, but one last thing before we do that. Between Brickyard and Iowa is that second bye week. There is no racing that week.
Like
Any of the
anywhere.
series.
I have one more thing to add about the Watkins Glen and Dover thing. I looked up the average temp for Watkins Glen, New York for May 10th. The average high temperature in Watkins Glen for May 10th is around 69 degrees, while the average low is 48. And the average temperature for Dover, Delaware on May 17th is around 74. The average low is 56. And
That sounds nice.
also, Eric, I know you probably didn't even notice this, but racing with 35, you wrote Martinsville.
I did notice that. I was about to point it out. That's very embarrassing because I put this exact same graphic in my video earlier today and did not notice it until now in front of a live audience. Yeah, sorry.
Let's go to Martinsville, everybody.
Hey, Martinsville's back.
The famous
Did I-
Martinsville hot dog.
All right, I spelled it right on this graphic. Thank goodness. The O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Here is their schedule. Let's roll through some of the highlights. Again, Daytona, Atlanta, back to back. They go to Coda. Trucks do not go to Coda this year. Worth noting, or next year, I should say. Worth noting. I love that Darlington is on here twice. Once in March and another time in September. That's great. Both are regular season races, worth noting, but still great. Rockingham is back. Let's see. They'll be part of that Watkins Glen triple header in May. They'll be part of the Dover triple header in May.
I like that we have multiple races that weekend.
Yeah, they'll be part of the San Diego triple header as well. They'll go to Chicagoland. Their regular season cutoff is Gateway, and then their playoffs, again, Homestead's the finale, but otherwise nothing too shocking there. I feel like the O'Reilly schedule outside of Darlington, outside of San Diego being added is kind
Portland
of
is out.
Good point. Yes, thank you for mentioning that.
I don't think that's a bad thing, especially to the team owners. That's something that they have not liked going up there.
I think for the team side, it's good for this year. I just hope that they bring the Cup Series there in some way next year and then have multiple series. I wouldn't bring the trucks because I think that's just too much for them. We'd probably get like a 20 truck field at that rate.
Is San Diego already locked in for a few years?
It's a 1 year. It's a 1 deal for now.
Yeah.
So that could be another way to get them to a big one on the West Coast.
Yeah, maybe then drive back down to Sonoma or vice versa, whichever one works. I think that market is so overlooked by so many NASCAR fans and even industry alike, and it shouldn't be because it's just it's such a wide open area that they could get tons of fans from not just America but also Canada.
Yeah, no, that area from really Colorado all the way up to Portland, Seattle, Vancouver. Yeah, go up into Canada. Very underserved at this point.
That's that was mentioned. Colorado might get a race next year was what Ben Kennedy was talking about.
I know there's like, Pikes Peak is like a short track out there. Like, I know there may be some options. I don't know how many options, like even the Portland track. Is that really a cup venue? I don't know. I'm sure you could run a cup race there and it would be fine, but I haven't heard amazing things about the facility itself or lack thereof of a facility. I feel like a street race in Denver. We've joked about that on the show. Like, I think that's where if Naval Base Coronado and San Diego is a one and done, which is very possible, maybe you look at Portland, Seattle, Denver, some of those big hubs as a potential street race, part 3 site.
Maybe you look at joining the Truck Series and where they're going.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. One note I want to make, and we haven't looked at the truck schedule yet, but spoiler alert, there are no international races on any of the 3 schedules next year. No Canadian Tire, no Montreal, no Mexico City, no Brazil. And I find that to be slightly disappointing. Obviously, I'd love to see a race in Canada. I thought the Mexico City race was a pretty solid race. I think it was a good event, something to build on for sure. I get that World Cup soccer scheduling conflicts. Okay, you might have to take a year off, but I hope that's all this is. I hope this is a year off, and then by 2027 we can get a race north and south of the border. I think it'd be great to get both countries involved.
It surprises me because there had been local Canadian media that said that the plan for 26 was O'Reilly and trucks and then Cup in 27. Like, we knew the Cup race wasn't happening, but like the two lower series had been like really talked about up until about a month and a half ago, really. And it just surprises me. Like, I'm surprised that they couldn't make any Canadian track happen.
Yeah. The Montreal conversations just seem to keep stalling out for whatever reason.
At the very least, I will say San Diego is very, very close to the Mexico border, and that does present a good opportunity for Mexican fans to,
For sure.
As long as they have their passport, can come in, to come in and see the race.
Yeah, well, that's why I was going to say my B+ I was giving kind of for the schedule, broadly speaking, would probably be a C+, B-, if not for San Diego. Like San Diego, I think that event is brilliant, has the potential to be one of the best things NASCAR has ever put on. Just the timing of it, the spectacle of it, obviously back in Southern California. Like there are so many things on paper that make sense about that race that to me, that triple header weekend really is that's the most exciting part of the 2026 schedule, I think. I know you're partial to Chicagoland, Jarrett. That's understandable.
I mean,
outside of local
bias aside,
yeah,
like that is
take local bias out, and that's the most exciting thing. Let's talk trucks. We'll wrap up with trucks because they have something kind of exciting too. Nobody saw this coming. They kept this one under wraps. Race 3, February, St. Petersburg, Florida. The first, I believe I saw this, the first street race in Craftsman Truck Series history. They will open up for the IndyCar Series on the streets of St. Pete. Gentlemen, reactions, thoughts. What? Huh?
Reminds me, completely different tracks. Reminds me of a time, though, of when the Truck Series accompanied IndyCar to Texas Motor Speedway. I'm sure you remember that, Eric.
Yeah. Good point.
I will say the thing I notice, so, going back to O'Reilly, I think they open up like 16 weeks in a row without a bye.
Dang.
And something I noticed on this is, yes, they do go up to like Watkins Glen, Dover, but trucks do not like go from Daytona and then Atlanta and then Las Vegas and then back. Like they're generally on the same roughly side of the country, closer to home for a long bit of that time until they go out to San Diego. I think logistically, this schedule makes so much more sense for the truck series outside of maybe like going out to Phoenix and back. But then it's like 2 races close to home before Homestead.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point. Yeah, I'm looking at it. You're right.
I think also it was said that like a large amount of like the original schedule tracks are raced at on this schedule too. They got, I like this schedule a lot. The only thing I don't like is that the early part of the season before May is very sparse.
I agree. I saw that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of random off weeks. It's going to be hard to get a good flow, good momentum. I mean, there's one race in March, one race that whole month. I mean, that's tough.
But I had like, I wonder, it's probably on the other side of the room. I always, when the schedule comes out, I get Saturday or Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, and I write which day of the weekend each race is on. And I noticed that there were a lot more, at least it seemed like there were a lot more Friday races for the truck series this year. I think Lime Rock, I'm surprised Lime Rock stayed because it was rumored they were going to go out to Sonoma.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are sad to not see Pocono on here.
I'm not. I didn't think the Pocono race was very good this year. I don't know.
That's one I'm A-okay with. I wouldn't be surprised if St. Pete is on Big Fox.
Fox has got to be driving that to promote both series that they show. I will say this. My one criticism of this schedule is there's 5 road races, 5 out of 25. This year, there are only 3. And like Watkins Glen was a wreck fest. Lime Rock was boring. Like, I don't know that road courses and trucks mix great. I don't think that's necessarily a great product. So 5 road races. St. Petersburg is exciting. Could be amazing. Could be a shit show. 5 road course races stresses me out just a little bit. I'm not sure that's the way to go, but that's really my only critique of this schedule.
I love that Bristol still has 2 races now, but for the longest time, it only had 1 truck race a year.
Yeah.
Well, lower series don't have a problem at Bristol unless Kyle Larson's in the race. Like,
yeah.
They're pretty damn good. I know the rumor for a while was, and maybe this is why they moved Watkins Glen there, because they just couldn't make it work. I know the rumor for a while was that like Richmond would be an early May, and that like there'd be a NASCAR IndyCar hybrid weekend. And I know like the trucks would be involved, and then like the Cup race and the IndyCar race and all of that. But I mean, overall, I think this is the best of the schedules personally.
I guess we settled on St. Pete being that hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a good one to start with.
Yeah. Yes, I think their first 3 races, Daytona, Atlanta, St. Pete, especially if that's on Big Fox, really going to shoot the Truck Series out of a cannon next year from a hype, an interest, a ratings
and then they'll go off for a month.
Then they go off for a month. Whoops.
This could just be an experiment to see it as adding the Truck Series, add in any kind of weekend hype. And I'm sure both being with Fox now is a big influence of that decision. So it'll be interesting.
If it's on Big Fox, I'm kind of curious, like, and it'd probably be IndyCar, but what one would get the higher rating?
Ooh, probably IndyCar.
Probably IndyCar, but I'm just saying, man, like the truck races on Big Fox this year were comparable to a lot of IndyCar races.
This could be a good experiment. Maybe St. Pete sets up to beat a street course in 2027.
That would be interesting.
I was surprised by this. I just asked our chat which schedule was the best, Cup, O'Reilly, or Trucks, and they voted in that order. Cup, 41% best, O'Reilly 31%, and Trucks only 26%. I
think I agree with them, honestly.
I mean, I think they should all be pretty even, but I'm a little surprised Trucks came in last. I thought St. Pete would move the needle a bit more for our voters in the chat, but
they went in the order they'd watch it.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, that just looks like ratings on a weekly basis. Well, gentlemen, before we get into our fun segments, we briefly need to touch on an unfun topic. NASCAR this week.
Not fun. We're not having fun.
So NASCAR filed a response to 2311 and Front Row's latest injunction request. We're not going to get into too much detail here. Essentially, NASCAR is arguing that 2311 Front Row have no right to charters because they didn't sign the deal. Simple as that. They didn't sign. They knew the risks. They knew it would happen. They should not get charters. They also say, NASCAR claims that there are, quote, many eager potential entrants from both inside and outside the sport. So NASCAR right now has those 6 charters that they rescinded from 2311 and Front Row, that they repossessed, you might say. They have 6 charters. I believe they are under a restraining order right now. They're not allowed to sell those charters, at least until this injunction is settled. But the hearing is scheduled for August 28th, about a week from now. Depending on the results of that hearing, the results of this injunction request, in the next few weeks, we could see charter movement that does not include 2311 or Front Row. Anything more we talked about is essentially speculation, but it's interesting to hear NASCAR once again making their argument against, why 2311, why Front Row should not be getting what they're asking for. And I feel like every time I read court documents in this case, I find myself like nodding along with whoever's right. When 2311 and Front Row are arguing, hey, NASCAR's monopoly, they've shorted us here. I'm like, oh yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. But then when NASCAR comes out and says, hey, these teams have no legal standing, I'm like, well, damn, that kind of makes sense. Like I really, at this point, it's 50-50 what happens with the injunction. I think the injunction will probably go the way of NASCAR because, I mean, the team's already lost once. I guess they did win once as well. They're 1-1. This is the rubber game. But I feel like they're probably not going to get it this time. The trial itself in December, at this point, it's 50-50. I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
Well, this is all happening in North Carolina, right?
I think so. Some of the early stuff was in Virginia, I thought, but I think most of it's all happening in Charlotte.
I'm gonna err on home field advantage on this one. I'm not saying anything, but I'm not saying anything.
Michael Jordan is a University of North Carolina legend. Just saying.
Yeah.
How many Long John Silvers are in North Carolina?
NASCAR's been dealing with the North Carolina judges for 75 years or more. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with I kind of lean towards NASCAR on that. And at that case, like I think that's the more interesting part to look at, because if the 2311 front row, if they're having the problems right now, I wonder what the aftermath of this will look like. I don't think a team is gonna, at least at the moment, wouldn't probably be dumb enough to buy up all of those charters. And then like if 2311 wins and if front row wins, then they have to get them back. And then they're probably having a whole new case set up, or maybe just NASCAR just unilaterally changes the format so that all the teams get charters. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The longer this goes, the more I find myself just eyes glazing over and just wanting it to be over, because it's just going to be back and forth. NASCAR is going to say they have all these suitors. They're probably overhyping it too much. Denny Hamlin's going to go on his podcast and say like how horrible they're being treated. It's probably not as bad as Denny's saying. And it's just going to be this tug of war until we find something out in December.
One interesting detail, I don't have the exact quote on me, but in one of NASCAR's filings, they claim that Michael Jordan, in his deposition, Michael Jordan claimed that 2311 has made a reasonable profit in its first 4 years, which, again, if true, if he actually said that under oth or however that works, then that don't help the team's arguments that, hey, this business model is failing us if he said that. So I don't know. I think I agree with you, Jarrett. Nothing's ever quite as bad as it sounds. It's probably also never as good as it sounds. Like well, how's the saying go? Nothing is everything, but everything is something when it comes to this case. So we'll see how it all shakes out in the coming months. But by
the way, Eric, you randomly asked how many Long John Silver locations there is in North Carolina. The answer is only 2.
Oh, it wasn't random. I was just asking how much pull Bob Jenkins might have, but
not that much pull, according to that.
Like not much at all. Damn. Okay,
that's what NASCAR will go after next. You lost your 3 charters. We're taking your 2 restaurants.
We're taking your franchise.
Oh, and one of them is a split with a Long John Silver's KFC, so it's barely hanging on. It's actually 1.5.
Those places are where like your gut goes to die.
I once saw, and it was a beautiful moment of American culture. I saw a Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, triple threat.
Wow,
I'd never seen that before.
I'm just thinking you can have one to clear out.
Take a stop at each counter and get something.
Yep.
So you said Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut?
Yes, sir.
You got one place to clear out your gut. You got one place to have inedible chicken, and then you have another place to, I guess, have decent enough pizza. Depends on the location.
Oh, I see. I wasn't sure which one was which. I was like, any of them could rot your gut if you order wrong.
Hold on.
That's where gut cancer goes to be born.
I have to address one person in the chat real quick. Kurt Hart Jr. Denny B. How are you coping with Chicagoland return, but no Nashville? Where have you been for the last few years?
Been
back forever, my dude.
We're talking about the fairgrounds.
Maybe he's thinking about downtown Nashville. I don't know.
I don't know, but
well, let's have some fun, Jarrett.
Fun, you say?
What's up first? I always forget what order. Oh yeah, we go in the. We're doing.
We're having fun.
Thank you. We will start with our accountability session. Throw that up on screen so I can read the notes. Thank you. Every week, each host will make 2 NASCAR, motorsports, or show-related predictions. We keep track every week in our accountability session, and we try to keep these predictions concise within a few weeks or years. So let's get started. I know a lot of predictions came off the board this week. Jarrett, oh my goodness.
Gah.
Couple of correct predictions. You predicted Wilkesboro would get a points race. Nice. NASCAR schedule would be released before the NASCAR 25 video game trailer. Both correct.
Hey, that was before I knew the date of either of those. By the way,
you made both those a while ago. In fact, I think almost all these you made a while ago. The Charlotte Oval not back on the schedule, unfortunately, in the fall. Tim Duggar did not perform at 9 races this year,
and he won't.
Yep.
It's a damn year he's not at a NASCAR track.
You had a new NWP 400 winner, a new e-ticket winner, but it was Maverick once again. Chase Elliott will win 3+ regular season races. He's stuck at 1, could get to 2. Darlington, you said, would only have 1 race next year. You must have made that prediction a long time ago. And then you said the NWP 400 winner would lead at the white flag. Instead, we had a pass for the win in the final feat. So 2 for 8. 2 for 8.
Wow,
There.
two of those could have been true if Trufer had just won the race.
2
Yeah.
for 4 for Daniel Baldwin here. He said that the viewership for the NWP 400 would be over 800 concurrent. It was well over 1,000 for most of the
1256.
That's
So,
beautiful. Thank
Highest
you for
my-
line
tuning
in
in.
3 years.
My feed was never updating for some reason. It was only showing me 710 no matter what. So I was actually worried I wasn't going to get it right.
I kept track.
Danny also correctly predicted that the Richmond Cup race would have less than 6 cautions. He did, however, say that Austin Dillon's 2024 Richmond win would be his last through 2026. I think
Haha.
you made that prediction a while ago. Jarrett's been keeping track. And then Danny also predicted Larson would win 5 or more regular season races. He's sitting at 3.
Nope.
At best, could get to 4. So just missed out on that one. 2 for 4 for Danny. Oh my goodness. This is my best prediction week ever. 4 for 5
Looks
for
like
yours
looks
truly.
like a Christmas tree here.
I'm sorry. Wait, 4 for 5. I had
for 5.
Honeycutt making the 2025 playoffs. Yes, I remember making that prediction early in the year. Christopher Bell won't win the regular season championship. That, in hindsight, sounds like a layup. I think I made that.
It after the 3 wins.
I made
Yeah,
it after the 3
probably.
straight wins. Still, that was probably a layup. 2026 schedule will be released by the end of the regular season, just under the wire there. At least 3 cars would be involved in a last lap wreck in the NWP 400. Yeah, there were a few bouncing off each other. The flagman held the caution, which was nice for me. Lastly, though, I had Ryan Preece being within 34 points of the cut line after Richmond. If not for Austin Dillon, that would have been correct.
He
as
would
well.
be.
Yeah. So, but I'll take it. Dang. Good week for it to be on my show. Oh my goodness. Whoa. What is this? All right.
It's been a good week all around for you, man.
This is nuts. All right.
For a little while, you were sub 30 at one
I've
point.
been last on this graphic pretty much all year, but now I've swung to first place on the season by a very narrow margin, as you can see over Danny. Even Jarrett is very close. What about for the last 2 years? Okay, I am in second now. Okay, moving up a little.
We're
bit,
getting all
slowly but
closer
surely.
together as I completely
Very-
crap the bed.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
where all yours finally start going off the board.
Yeah,
that
all
you,
right.
that you established like 3 years ago or whatever it is.
I was much smarter 3 years ago than I am now, clearly. Good stuff. Well, we got to make new predictions. It's a new week, so we each get to make 2 predictions. We'll start with who goes first. Do I go first?
Yeah.
Oh,
You,
'cause I'm
Danny,
leading.
then me.
All right, my first prediction. There are a lot of rumors around colleague racing, and they might be making an announcement possibly this weekend in Daytona Beach. There's a chance. My prediction has nothing to do with trucks or any potential Ram related announcements. My prediction is that they will only have one full-time Xfinity driver next year, and his name will be Christian Eckes. That's my prediction.
Thank God. I thought you were literally taking my number 1 prediction away from me.
No worries, Danny.
My
No worries,
number
you're
1
good.
prediction is Colleague Racing will be announced as a Ram Truck Series team at the Ram dealership in Daytona this weekend.
That seems pretty likely. That's where all the signs are pointing. I
And
think it was
it's not a layup because that could be wrong
No.
intel.
someone, I forget what reporter was it. Jonathan Field, maybe, I think, pointed out that the dealership owned that this Ram announcement is happening is owned by Daniel Dye's father.
Michael Triple B there.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, would that mean is Danny Dye going back to trucks?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I guess we'll find out.
No, the interesting part is when you see Colleague have no Chevy logos on their car next year in either of the top 2 series because they'll get no factory support.
I mean,
Zombie Chevys.
I mean, the thing is, like a Camaro is still going to look good badgeless. So,
Well, it's not a Camaro anymore, technically.
oh,
it's a zombie
It's a
Camaro.
Chevrolet. It's a bitchin' Camaro. I'm gonna say this: there's only gonna be one flip this weekend.
Only one.
Only
What about?
one.
Okay.
And,
all right,
and that's all 3. Was there all 2 series, right?
All 2. Yep.
okay. I'll make a Daytona prediction. I believe all 3 RFK cars, Keselowski, Priest, Buescher, will lead at least 1 lap in the Cup race.
All right. We're back to these ones. I like these ones because it's fun for me to track.
Yes.
What you got, Danny?
I had to back up just in case. I'm getting rid of my one I don't want to go with here. I'm going to say RCR will not win the Xfinity race at Daytona?
Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna make this one. After this week's field, there will not be a full Cup field for the rest of the year.
Ooh,
We will
interesting.
not have a 40-car field through the playoffs.
I could see that.
Talladega always gives a good chance for people to show up.
Talladega is my biggest op in my opinion right now. I'm worried about that one. If we get past Talladega with like a 39-car field, I'm gonna feel great.
Yeah, that one will be interesting. Because did I see a headline that Beard Motorsports is sitting out Daytona, but like to make sure they're ready for later for like Talladega? I thought I saw something like that. So the 62 might be back. That's one. We'll see.
They'll probably get probably Alfredo or something like that drive.
Probably.
Yeah.
Brendan gone. One final ride. No. Hopefully it doesn't end like 2019's ride did.
He was in the lead when it happened.
He was in the lead when he went soaring through the turn 3 air. Well, that was our first fun segment. Thank you all for playing along, following our predictions. Let's see if I can stay on a roll as we get into our random driver of the week.
Side note, before we got to have the chat, they did say that's because the 33 is at Daytona, so that kind of takes away the resources from a 62 entry.
Makes sense. That does make sense. I didn't read I think I read the headline. I didn't read anything underneath it. Good stuff. Thanks, chat. Now we got to put the chat away because Jarrett's going to try to stump us with his random driver clues. Let's rock and roll.
Chat. I'll make sure they're behaving. So the random driver of the week segment, Danny and Eric are tied 27 all right now. So
man, we've been so close all year. It's crazy.
We've never had a
nothing more than 2
lead.
Chat, this is not staged. This is just how it keeps happening. I don't know. I just don't know how this keeps working out like that.
John blew the chance to get the chat away from Jarrett, or to get the guest away from Jarrett.
Yep, we're still tied at 6, I believe. The last 5 weeks, Eric has 3, Danny has 2. Danny got Willie T. Ribbs and Steve Grissom. And Eric last week got Todd Bodine as well as Sam Ard and Junior Johnson.
The Sam Ard one I'm still disappointed in, but the Todd Bodine one, I was never thinking him, unfortunately.
Are you ready? I know the chat's ready.
I'm ready.
This random driver suffers from migraines. So, had those 4. They suck.
What a start.
This random driver is from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Alex Bowman?
Is that your guess?
Yeah, I don't remember where he's from in Arizona.
Oh, had me sweating for a second there.
This random driver,
I think he's Tucson.
Was born in New Jersey.
Oh, born in New Jersey, but lived in Scottsdale?
Lives in Scottsdale.
Actively lives in Scottsdale.
Oh, okay. I should have heard that.
That's outside Phoenix, right? Isn't there a lot of golf courses in Scottsdale? I don't know.
I've never been there.
Okay.
I'd assume. This random driver is a fan of the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Clippers.
That checks out where they live.
Man, Phoenix Suns, just forgotten about, I guess. Okay.
I have never tweeted about this random driver, but the two of you have tweeted about this random driver twice apiece.
So intriguing.
This random driver's career actually started by pursuing open wheel racing.
I'm going to throw out a guess because I'm probably going to not use all 3. Can I just throw out Michael McDowell?
Michael McDowell?
Yeah. Ooh, I thought I might have that one.
This random driver was briefly a musician.
Huh.
This random driver has raced in NASCAR in Fords. Only Fords.
Only Fords.
Only Fords. This random driver has been in the Sharknado franchise.
Who?
The only ones I think of are obviously not this person because they race better than Ford.
Yeah, I'm thinking Keselowski, Logano.
Yeah,
Was Logano?
look, I think Logano was in it as well.
Who else was in
those
it?
are the ones.
This random driver has made 22 ARCA starts with a top 5 and 12 career top 10s.
Okay.
In 2011, this random driver was involved in a domestic dispute where it was reported that the person had pointed a gun at their own head. This has been refuted since and said to have just more or less been, I guess, slander.
These are some heavy hints tonight. Okay.
This random driver at one point actually was a guest star in an episode of the ABC hit show The Rookie.
With what's his face? What's that actor's name?
Yeah, that's the cop show, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the one Nathan Fillion?
Yep.
I like Nathan Fillion.
I see clips of that all the time.
I have no idea who this is.
They've only raced Fords.
This random driver's career high NASCAR finish has been 10th.
Like in a single race or points finish?
Single race.
Okay.
It takes away someone I was thinking of. It's not him.
This random driver ran these numbers. Get your pens and pads if you're ready.
Shoot. Where's my pen at? Shit. It's on the ground.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
05, 10, 17, 22, 24, 27, 30, 33, 35.
That doesn't help me, actually.
Has the chat gotten this? They have to. These have been some very specific clues.
Yeah, they got a while ago.
Oh my God. I really like my McDowell pick. Not now, but at the time I felt like I was about to snipe one.
By the way, do not look at your phones or anything. I have a Stern bomb after this is done to show.
Oh man, I want to see the Stern bomb.
No. Just wait. It'll be worth it.
I want to see the Stern bomb.
Is it a hint?
Don't cheat. No, it has nothing to do with this.
That sounds like a hint.
Trust me. This random driver has made 2 Xfinity Series starts and 22 Truck Series starts.
So they're mainly higher series, I reckon.
They've only driven Fords. Let's see. Okay, keep going.
This is very confusing.
I feel like this is like an old, like retired driver or something that they're still living out, and if they're like they retired to, that feels like a place you retire to. You retire to Scottsdale, hit some golf balls at the country club every other day.
Do you want to make a guess about that?
I have no clue. I keep going. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can tell Danny's not close, so I'll hold on.
I'm not.
This random driver has 1.4 million Instagram followers and nearly 370,000 on X.
Goodness.
By the way, we have 3 clues left.
Oh,
what the hell?
That might get easier. They might not, though. This random driver has raced in 5 Toyota Pro Celebrity races.
Frankie Muniz.
Oh, it's Frankie Muniz. Damn it. Oh, man.
Danny got it.
Oh, that was too easy. How did it take us so long?
It suddenly started clicking. Like, wait a minute. Look at these numbers. What has he raced in ARCA? Right as I was thinking it, he said that. Like, yep, I got it.
Oh, man. That was there for the taking. Oh.
Yep. So 28, 27. No cheating yet. I want to be the one to read the Stern bomb.
Okay.
I'll update the points in here, though.
Dang it. I should have gotten that one so much sooner.
Are you ready for the Stern bomb?
What's the Stern bomb?
A deal between Metro and Speedway Motorsports, Inc. to overhaul the Nashville Fairgrounds and bring top-tier NASCAR races back to South Nashville's site is nearly ready to announce.
Wow.
Now, I want to say this because
I love how they wait until after the 2026 schedule got announced.
I want to say this. With that part of it. Now, I will say I did not go and read the article because we're in the middle of the segment. So maybe it's just another one of those smoke and mirrors things. The last I had heard was like that it was closer to being torn down for a housing development than actually.
I gave up on it entirely.
Because I saw an outline from like the city metro that like has affordable housing built that had nothing to do with like the fairgrounds being on that site. So the fact that is the case, I don't know what happened or what money might have been going around or what. I don't care. That's friggin'
progress.
awesome. It's from the Nashville Banner. So, and Stern wouldn't put it out if that wasn't the case.
I love that there's the chat spamming the like celebratory confetti emoji.
So let's see. I mean, we were not planning this segment, so we probably are going to throw a monkey wrench in the plan, but I want to make sure we get all of the big stuff from it.
These two guys here live in Nashville, so this is near and dear to them.
When we say top tier, that doesn't necessarily mean cup.
No, and it wouldn't be cup for a while probably, but it's a Jasper Hendricks, chair of the Metro Board of the Fair Commissioners, told the Banner Wednesday that a deal between the Metro and Speedway Motorsports Inc. to overhaul the Nashville Fairgrounds and yada yada, same stuff I just said, is nearly ready to announce. Hendricks is a supporter of racing at the fairgrounds, and said there would be more to share and more details in the coming days. And I guess there was a lot when it came to the administration with the mayor. Sounds like the mayor when the mayor was elected, I don't know if you remember, Danny, but was not exactly keen on continuing this push. Like I'm gonna be honest, because I've been following this hardcore and gotten intel here and there from people at the fairgrounds, and not just John, like people in general. I am genuinely surprised that this has happened. Like this. Danny, I think I talked to you when you and I went off in December, when we went on like the bumper cars and stuff, like that it seemed like it was dead in the water.
Yep.
And that if we didn't hear something by the Daytona 500, it wasn't going to happen like at all for at least another 3 or 4 years. Damn, this is a good day for my tracks being like revived or pushed. Holy hell.
I'm skimming this. And yeah, if this goes through and ends up really developing into something big, if they eventually get Cup here, which may not be for a few years, and I don't know if they ever will.
No, it'll be a long time.
Remember what we said earlier about SMI buying Dover and Nashville?
Yeah.
This is where this could be the end of Dover. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe it's premature to say that. This could be.
So
that's fair.
Or it's the end of Nashville Super Speedway because they're in the same market. I mean, I don't want to put Dover in the grave. I'm just saying, I'm just being cynical over here.
Here is just an idea that I have, and tell me what you guys think about this. What if we get to a point where, similar to Indianapolis weekend, we take the Xfinity and Cup Series to Nashville Super Speedway, and we take the trucks. And maybe ARCA elevate their weekend up to that weekend at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We bring those two in there, and possibly even a second date at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, working them in where right now the IndyCar finale is August 30th through 31st at Nashville Super Speedway. What if the trucks come again right now, according to the 2026 schedule? That weekend would be open right now.
I mean, I like it. I think if they can get a truck race at the fairgrounds in the next 2 years, that'd be awesome.
I mean, if you could tell me that then we could have 2 truck races and an ARCA race at the Fairgrounds Speedway when we had just ARCA, we were lucky to have that. That'd be a win right there,
No, totally. I mean, I don't know when they would get Cup there if this all goes through. Because the thing is if it goes through now, we're probably not getting racing there till like for any of the top series till 28, 29.
If we do get Cup there, I don't think the Super Speedway has to go away itself either.
I think they could and even if they do a back and forth thing though, but thing is that if they're going to make that kind of deal with the city, there's going to be a lot of money and the city's going to want to make that back. Because I have a feeling it's going to come out of Nashville taxpayers' dollars. So, yay, Danny, not coming out of our pockets.
Be smart about how close you live to major cities, but not in the major cities county.
Exactly. Yeah, I think isn't like Hendersonville right on that borderline?
We are literally miles from the border of Davidson County.
But it's not ours. It's not our problem.
Well, an interesting a bomb here. Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, perhaps a real path towards NASCAR racing in the not so distant future. We've said that a lot in recent years. This one seems maybe legit. We'll see. We will see.
Reach out to some people this week about this.
Yeah,
the All-Star race does seem better there than Dover, though. I will just say that.
that is unfortunate, but it is true. Let's talk Daytona, folks. Daytona regular season finale for Cup. We got to make our predictions, get the chats picks. We'll start with some notes here. Austin Hill, the big bully himself, will make a Cup start in the RCR 33. Casey Mears making his 491st career Cup start in the 66. BJ McLeod is in the 78. Justin Haley is running that 11 car for Colleague in the Xfinity race. Eric Almirola is in the JGR 19. Rajah Caruth will run the Xfinity race in the Jordan Anderson 32. And Connor Zilic is currently on the entry list. Justin Mark said he'd be a game time decision for the Friday night Xfinity Series race. Personally, I think he should sit this one out, come back for Portland. But
I think they should have got someone like an Alex Bowman who needs a little bit more seat time this weekend, or someone like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had him start the race and at the end of the first stage, riding in the back of the pack, put somebody else in the car to go after the stage points and the win.
Probably put Larson. He's probably the closest Hendrick driver that's closest in size to him, I'd say.
Yeah,
probably.
I don't know if Larson would do that, though. Does Larson want more seat time at Daytona right before the playoffs? Probably not. I wouldn't want to put Larson in that car. That's too risky. But there's someone out there.
How does he compare to like? Chastain ran his 5. So how does he compare to like Suarez? I think Suarez
maybe a little bigger.
Does Hendrick just have like a simulator driver that could step in if needed?
It's Alfredo, I think, but he's already in the race.
Carson Hocevar, I thought he ran the Hendrick Sims.
Well, he's definitely too tall to fit in that seat.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Unless they edit it for the new driver and then they just have Zilic be a little uncomfortable for the first stage.
Just stick your legs out, buddy. You're not going to be out there long.
He's sitting there with like his knees up on the wheel. He's like, I got it, man.
First person the chat suggested, no surprises, Dale Jr. Second person they suggest is Corey LaJoy. So, those are some notable.
He'd be serviceable.
Notable drivers in notable seats for this weekend's race. Some information here. The Wawa 250, that's the name of the Xfinity race, Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the CW, also on MRN, Sirius XM radio. It's a 100-lap race. 30, 30, 40 are the stage lengths. Weather is 88 degrees is the high, 47% chance of rain, scattered showers and storms to be expected in Florida in the warm summer months. Ryan Truex is the defending race winner. For the Cup race, the Coke Zero Sugar 400, that's Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Big NBC, also MRN, also Sirius XM radio. 160 laps, 30, 35, 60, and 65 laps are the stage breakdowns. Interesting. So they can do stage 1 on a single tank of gas, I believe. I think they should. Weather is similar. 87 degrees is the high, 50% chance of rain. Harrison Burton is the defending Coke Zero Sugar 400 winner.
Don't worry about no rain. 10 years ago, we finished this thing at 2 a.m. We'll do it again.
Jarrett is leading the pick points by a wide margin. Danny is 25 points back. Chat minus 26. I'm glad I did well in predictions this week because my race predictions have been booty lately. I'm 30 points back. Basement boy. So let's get started with Daytona, folks. We'll go start with the Xfinity Series race. Who's going to win the Wawa 250? I get to ask the question and I get to go first this week because I'm that far back in the points. I know, chat. I know he's a punching bag nowadays. Nobody wants to say it, but Austin Hill is damn good at super speedway racing. I got to take Austin Hill. No brainer in my eyes.
Couldn't see that. I'm like, a monkey. All right. I'm seeing 2s.
Yeah,
that's right. Chat goes next. They'll take his teammate. Fair enough. Jesse Love.
Alrighty.
A long time ago, a land far, far away, before Austin Hill and Jesse Love were monkey answers, the real monkey answer was Justin Haley, and I'll go with Justin Haley.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun. I'm going with Allgaier. I'm going Justin Allgaier on this one.
Fair enough. I appreciate the monkey emojis in the chat. All right. So we've got 1 for Hill, 1 for Love, 1 for Haley, and Justin Allgaier. Good picks across the board there. Now let's talk about the Cup race, beginning with who is going to suck on Saturday night. I'll kick things off. I'll go Kyle Busch. I know he's almost won this race. I just have a feeling the mojo's not there. Something's going to go wrong and take him out. So that's my unfortunate pick. He keeps letting me down when I buy in. I'm going to sell this week and see if he proves me wrong.
But there's a guy with a Bowman profile picture that said 48.
Oh man,
The reverse jinx.
the
right?
call is coming from inside the house. Chat is are they leaning Larson? I think they're leaning Larson. There's a lot of different numbers in there, but a lot of
Larson?
I'm right with the chat on that one. I do need Larson to be there with the 48 at the end, pushing him, but I'm gonna go with him as my suck pick.
Hey, Larson hasn't been as shabby lately at super speedways, though. Not great, but I was listening to Lenny Kravitz earlier today on my run, and the song was "Fly Away," and it made me think of Ryan Preece sucking in this race.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, had to.
All right, then now it's time for dark horse picks. Who's a sleeper that could steal the victory on the High Bank Saturday night? I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. He's not in this exact paint scheme, but give me Chris Buescher. He's won this race before. Roush usually brings the horses to the super speedways. He's got two teammates. They're all going to be working together. Same goal. My guess is the 17 will be the one out front with a shot at the win in the closing laps. Chat, dark horse, gimme. Who you got?
I saw 21s, but
Josh Berry.
See a lot of 77 as well.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Like those 321s there.
Yeah, I think 3 in a row.
I think 21's more consistent than 77 to me.
Yeah,
it is like just dark.
Reality.
Yeah, it is just dark horse pick. It's not as serious as the others. So we'll give him Josh Berry for now. Good stuff.
Similar note to number 21. My cup underdog is Austin Hill. He may even try to go out and win this thing for himself because he doesn't have to worry about getting the 3 to win. And, well, he might want the job of the 8, so he might just say, forget you.
See, I like when we do this where we go in numerical order for our picks. So we got 17, 21, 33. I'm going to go 42. John Hunter Nemechek has been pretty damn consistent in the next gen era when he races at Daytona in particular. I believe last year he was spun out of the lead in this race. I could be wrong though, but I remember he was leading. I think he like spun through the grass at one point.
Chat remind us.
He's been pretty decent, and I think he could sneak up and steal one.
It's a good one. It's a good pick. You see Eric Jones's scheme this week? Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right. Who's going to win the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Once again, I ask the question and then I also have to go first. This is so awkward. All right. I get first pick. This dude, if you look at his finishes on super speedways the last few years, they are terrible. Terrible. But I still believe. Joey Logano. Playoffs are right around the corner. This is peak Joey Logano season. Give me Joey to win at Daytona. Chat, who you got? Is that Cody Ware I'm seeing in the chat?
I'm seeing
oh my God.
a ton of 51.
Holy hell, there actually are.
It is not just from one person.
Get her done. 51.
They are going to 51 guys.
I'm not gonna go that far because I do see a lot of 12s.
Which probably pull, but that's self-sabotaging, man. Hold on, I make sure that one shows. That's 48.
51.
There's definitely a lot of 51s, but out of respect for the chat, because I
don't give them a fair
and
shake.
12.
I'll give them 51 versus 12. I'll give you guys a few seconds to vote. Place your votes quick.
Very carefully, chat.
Yeah, be careful, folks. This is a big call here. 750
51 is leading on my screen.
People watching. It is a dead heat for who they think is going to win the Cup race. Daytona. Anything can happen. Rick Ware Racing could show up with a rocket ship.
I think they're gonna be smart and go with Blaney here.
Give me 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep picking. It is gonna be Ryan Blaney with 55% of the vote.
I can't believe the chat almost fumbled that, man.
That was close.
Bill,
Danny, who do you got?
44% of 140 people. That's 62 people voted for Cody Ware.
You know who you are.
Eric,
Yes.
did you ever see Matt Kenseth win in person?
Not a NASCAR race.
But you saw him win in person.
Saw him win a super late model race. It was hype.
Jarrett, how many times did you see Dale Jr. win in person?
I saw him win in 2012 at Michigan. It was one of the greatest days of my life.
My wife Claudia has seen Chase Elliott win in person 3 times.
Holy hell.
I have never seen Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Alex Bowman win a race in my entire life. It's going to happen this weekend. I'm going with Alex Bowman. I'm going in the stands, and I'm sitting there and watching the Ally 48 win Daytona.
Hey, I respect the commitment.
I almost wrote it down before the show because I knew you were going to go with it. I was like, now, in respect to Danny, just in case he throws a curveball at me, I'm not going to. That leaves my number one. I'm going to go with this teammate, William Byron.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No Cindric picks this week.
He was my
on
number
list.
2.
He won because he won Talladega this year, right? I mean,
He was my number 2 in case the chat or you surprised me and you stole him.
So for me, like, I don't know what you. So Eric, your list is 1 this week.
Yeah.
Danny has a substantial list. My list was for Xfinity. It was Hill, Love. I got Allgaier, and then Gray. I think he's gonna.
You like this Taylor Gray guy? You're like convinced it's gonna happen any day now.
Dude, he keeps running up front in all these races. Eventually, he's got to break through.
I agree, but you are like really into it.
And on my end for Cup, I had Byron number 1, then Bowman, then Cindric, then Buescher.
Buescher got a mention. Okay, I like it. I like that. All right, good stuff, everyone. Good stuff. May the best picks win Daytona wild card race, regular season finale for Cup. Before we get into our final Super Chat stage break, next week's show, post Daytona, heading into the Southern 500, will be on Jarrett's channel, The Iceberg. That's next Wednesday, August 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're not subscribed to The Iceberg, you can do that by clicking his name in the description below. Subscribe to Danny B Talks while you're down there. And if you're not part of the 250,000 members of the Groovy Gang, you can hit the subscribe button on this video as well. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. Thank you so much for your generous support. We've got a bunch of super chats, comments, questions, concerns to read and react to wrap up the night. We'll pick up with where we left off. Fred Dog 81 earlier in the evening said, one thing about the 26 schedule I don't get, Watkins Glen is in the spring, but Sonoma still in the summer. Why does NASCAR refuse to race Sonoma earlier in the year when the grass isn't dead and ugly? I know we all want to see a spring Sonoma one day.
It needs to.
Just for fun. This year, I guess next year they're doing the San Diego Sonoma back-to-back. So I guess that's their own summer West Coast swing. Dr. Elk says there is a world where Riley Herbst wins this week and knocks Tyler Reddick out of the playoffs. I favor a playoff system, but that's an insane system. I think a lot of people agree. I think a lot of even the playoff defenders agree with that last statement for sure. Indy Carson, hey NWP, Iceberg, I'm 50-50 on going to Chicagoland due to the heat. Did NASCAR not learn how better night races are in July for weather and entertainment? Well, the Atlanta race is a night race. We do know that. We're hopeful that North Wilkesboro will be a night race. Chicagoland is kind of the unknown, but we'll see. It's also a holiday weekend, kind of special case, kind of tricky there. This one comes from, I believe, the Roman numeral 3. Austin Hill will either get pushed by or push Cody Ware to the win over Busch in the final lap of Daytona. I love how we're all just painting these fictional scenarios in our minds now and hoping they play out. Lord Voldemort, the Dark Lord. Funny because right before I came up here to do this show, Amelia was putting on one of the Harry Potter movies. I don't know which one. So this is kind of freaking me out. Maybe this is Amelia's burner account. It's been her all this time. She says Amelia didn't say it. Lord Voldemort said
buying into it.
Oh gosh, I'm about to go confront her right now. This is about to be our first fight.
I know who you are.
Boo A, B, and KH. Everyone type hashtag I stand with 2311. Yes, saw that coming. Isaac V24, thanks for the super chat. What scares me about Byron is the regular season championship curse in the next gen between Elliott in 22, Truex in 23, and Reddick in 24. Great point. I'm trying to think, did any of those drivers make the championship 4 in those seasons? I think Elliott did. Chase did for sure, because then at Phoenix, remember, he got turned by Chastain. I don't think Truex did. And I know Reddick did. Oh, no, Reddick did too. Wait, Reddick did make because he won Homestead. So I don't know if there is much of a curse if 2 of those 3 still made it to the championship 4. I don't know. I'd feel okay about Byron if I was a Byron fan. Indy Carson says, I'm only going to have local motorsports channels since I only care for the NWP hosts. I'll be at the IndyCar race at Milwaukee. Maybe I'll see David Land. Yeah, say hi to David for us if you
Yeah.
see him. Soupy Spirit. I love that name. I'll probably get some flack for this, but I think North Wilkesboro should have stayed abandoned. The racing wasn't good then and won't be good now. People only really wanted it because nostalgia.
Okay,
That
Marcus Smith, we know your burner count.
that is a hot take. I thought the racing was pretty good this year. I don't know. You know, if it makes people happy, what's the harm? I will say it's injected life into the All-Star weekend for the first time in a long time. Obviously, that's going to change next year, unfortunately. Alex Luft says, I just wanted to ask Danny what steam locomotive you prefer, Pennsylvania Railroad 1361 or Norfolk and Western 611?
So I looked into these two just to make sure. I wasn't as familiar with Pennsylvania 1361. I know about NW 611, but my answer is still NW 611, the beautiful J class locomotive. It's smooth, like it looks like a rocket ship on rails. If you've never seen it before, it's a really cool looking train. I'd love to go see that one in person one day because they still get it out and run that one.
How many is there? Just one? Is it just that one?
So a long time ago, there was a good number of J class locomotives. It's still, I think, one of the only few that runs today. It might be the only one that runs today still.
Interesting. Another one from the Roman numeral 3. And now they want Richmond to go against Knoxville. Yeah, as things currently are listed, Kyle Larson's going to be in a tough spot next summer. Colleague Nation, thank you for the Canadian super chat. $7 Canadian says, thoughts on pending Ram announcement, likely with Colleague. Announcement will be at Daniel Dye's Ram lot. Question is, will RCR go to or just Colleague? I hadn't really thought about that last part. Yes, I think all the rumors, yes, point to Colleague, Ram teaming up to some capacity. How that impacts their Xfinity and Cup program in the near future is TBD. And then, yeah, it's a good question about how that may impact their relationship with RCR, since they do exist on RCR's Welcome North Carolina campus, or at least adjacent to it. I would be surprised if Richard Childress left Chevy. I know the Earnhardt fans wouldn't like that, but ECR does have its own engine shop. And if you're serious about going Cup racing, Dodge probably wants to team up with someone who has those capabilities. Then Hendrick could make the Chevy engines, TRD, the Toyotas, Roush the Fords, and then ECR could make Dodge. It does make sense on paper, but it would be quite the break from tradition, in my opinion.
I do like, though, that AJ Allmendinger could give a good number of runs in the Truck Series road course races. Would they have 5 next year?
Yeah, 5 road races. He could just pick those as his 5 that he does, unless NASCAR opens up eligibility even more and AJ could get back to victory lane, which we haven't seen in a minute. Lord Voldemort again says, problem with Sunday night weather. I don't know what that's really relevant to, but thank you, Mr. the Dark Lord. Ryan PSU fan, thank you for the super chat. The Little League World Series is going on right now. I was lucky to attend a game last year and the year prior. I recommend it. The facilities are beautiful and it's free to attend. I did not know that it's free to attend.
Ironic that Austin Dillon, former competitor, won this weekend.
Austin Dillon is a former Little League World Series player. That is a good poll right there. I used to always enjoy watching Little League World Series on ESPN. It was always this time of year right before school started. So it was kind of fun to see kids my age on the big screen, if you will. Let's see. Where did I leave off? This just updated. Goodness, really appreciate the support tonight. Y'all got a lot of super chats.
Jarrett must be taking care of the baby.
Yeah, I will try to get through a few of these pretty quick here. From Boomerang 91. Hey, Jared, are we going to get a Chicagoland suite for all of us Northern Illinois NWP fans? Dibs on 2 seats.
I don't know about a suite, but I don't know. There's a ways off, and
maybe we do some sort of appearance or some sort of show, or
we know people, and we can probably do something. We'll figure something out. I know I'll be there. I know a lot of people are going to be there. So TBD.
Oh my gosh, I just saw a skunk go by my window.
oh damn. Go Snake Man says, I think Rockingham would be better for the All-Star race than Dover. I would agree. I am looking forward to Cup drivers doing more Xfinity / O'Reilly and trucks. Yeah, we didn't touch on that detail that was reported on this week, and Steve O'Donnell talked about it. But yeah, there is the chance of a few more opportunities for Cup and Xfinity, or for Cup guys to run Xfinity and truck races. My guess is that's an O'Reilly and CW push to try and get a few more big names, drive ratings a little further. But
so I think that's part of it. But my theory is that it's also a Dodge thing, because Dodge needs everything they can to get their feet off the ground quick. There weren't these issues with Cup guys going down to different series when Toyota came in, and they did have help with that at times. I would not be surprised if they were opening it up for Ram to get off the gate quick if they don't have, a ton of regulars and say the trucks. Maybe they go from 5 to what it used to be like 7 races allotted, or 10 or whatever.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, I could see that. Jeffrey King says, I want to thank you all for being true fan representatives and helping NASCAR hear our voices. Bowman better make the playoffs or I will be angry. Go
Me too.
HNS. Thank you for the comment, Jeffrey. From Scotty B says, didn't Matt Crafton win a championship without winning a race all year? Yeah, that did happen.
We were there.
2019. We were at that finale. Scotty also says, is Marcus doing to Dover what his dad Bruton done to North Wilkesboro in 1996? I think one of you guys actually made that comparison earlier. Unfortunately, could be. We'll see. Hopefully the future of Dover is brighter than it currently appears. From Rowdy 18 Diecast, Dover All-Star Race makes me think the track is cooked. Let's hope not, but it's not looking great, I guess, long term. Justin Drake says the 2024 Xfinity Roval finish for the 54 and the NWP 400, but very entertaining. Is this like because the no caution call at the end there, they're wrecking at the line and they held the yellow? That may be what that's referring to. Controversial officiating, wouldn't be a NASCAR event without it. Go Snake Man 9, thanks for the 10. If I could have chased my way, I would end the regular season on the 24th points race, then the final 12 races. Every 3 races, 3 drivers get eliminated until the final 3 races, and 3 drivers name a champion. I mean, I like having multiple races in the final round. Having a whole third of the schedule be playoff races might be a little much, especially for teams that don't make the playoffs. It's a lot of the season now that they're out of the spotlight, but there's a lot conceptually I agree with there. Crash Travels USA, SMI buys a track and within 5 years it has 0 points races. Where have I seen this movie before? Yes, true, very true. From the People's Champ 42, Iowa and Minnesota SummerSlam not on the same weekend. Is he going to that? Do you know, Jarrett? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll probably find out in the Discord sometime in the next week or two.
Will Griffin, thank you for the super chat. Can't watch live because of working a night shift. As pissed as I am about the Dover All-Star crap, it's great that we have the trucks back after 6 years. Us fans need to keep supporting Dover or it will be gone. That is one silver lining, is they did get a truck race on next year's schedule. So it is a triple header weekend for Dover. So at least there's some new things to see, even if the All-Star race isn't exactly big ticket. Justin Drake, another super chat. Hopefully Dover is the All-Star race as a placeholder and it goes back to a spring or late summer date. But what track do you guys think should be the All-Star race in 2027? I'm thinking Rockingham. Rockingham could be a fun pick if you want to get the Cup. What about Fairgrounds? Sternbaum.
Probably not that far out. They're not that soon, but honestly, I'd be okay with one off at Charlotte. And then just sort of shop it around again. I think a one-off every now and then to the traditional date. They should do it with the Clash once. I think that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah. I think Charlotte hey, let's try Bristol one more time. See if we can get it one more time.
If we fix the package and do Bristol, I would be all for it.
Yeah.
Same. Jeffrey gives his score of the schedule. Says Chicagoland, yeah. Dover All-Star, no. 8 out of 10. Scotty B with another super chat says, do y'all remember going to a truck race and seeing 15 trucks sponsored by Marcus Lemonis and Camping World? Just like going to a race in the late 70s and early 80s and seeing 10 JD Stacy cars on the track.
That's a good pull.
So
yeah, that is a very good reference.
Marcus Lemonis kind of had a falling out of NASCAR, but when he was in, he was really in it.
He was. That was a wild, like 2 years.
Like EA Sports, the man was in the game.
Until he wasn't.
It wasn't.
Ryan Idius says Dover All-Star versus the last Texas All-Star for worst All-Star. I think Jeff Gluck said that the Texas All-Star race, the one, the Blaney one with the window net, was like the lowest rated race in his poll. That should surprise me that it was that poorly received.
I should look and see if that's the case with mine.
Oh yeah, you should.
2022, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it was. Holy
It was
hell.
wow. I remember being annoyed and upset, but I don't remember being that angry after that race.
15 so it's 15% positive, 73%
Mm.
negative.
And the
And
right guy still won.
well, here's the thing is like, so Danny, believe it or not, I do remember the finish, but like I'd had a few that night. This is before I did my post race streams, and I posted it at the initial finish, and then they are like, hold on, like we got another restart, and I literally said, "F this, I'm leaving it up. I don't care." Like as the
That's
only
funny.
time I posted the poll before, like, and not like half a lap before the finish if I'm
Yeah.
like overboard, but it's the first time I posted before the finish, and I was like, screw it, I'm not touching it. This race is disgrace. This is stupid. Like, let's go to freaking Charlotte.
I love this comment in the chat from Noah. He's quoting Clint Boyer. I don't know what to say, Clint Boyer. That's how you know something crazy's happened. Where are we at here from J-Man? Danny, thoughts on Aguilar? Hashtag remember the Alamo.
Joey Aguilar, who he's talking about. He
Aguilar.
is Tennessee's starting quarterback. I'm hopeful. Interceptions are concerned because he threw a lot or a decent amount, but he also threw for over 3,000 yards his last 2 seasons with App State. The only thing is, I know App State had to play from behind a lot because they were they were not as good defensively. I think Tennessee's going to be better defensively, so I'm looking forward to maybe even them out a little bit there. Not as much to come back from. App State lineman, App State wide receiver targets going to be much different compared to what he's got with Tennessee. So we'll see how he adjusts to the system, and we'll next weekend against Syracuse, we'll get it started.
That's the prelim for the Orange Bowl, it sounds like. Justin Drake, thank you for the super chat, says, as an upstate New Yorker, better bring the rain tires, and if weather keeps moving this direction it has in recent years, consider snow tracks off a snowmobile. Yeah, man. Wow. Okay. That's what I've heard is a lot of locals in Watkins Glen area are like, not sure about early May. Scotty B says, technically Dover has a triple header weekend with trucks, Xfinity, and the All-Stars. Okay, yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier. Maybe Marcus will rotate the All-Star and point state around his tracks after 2026. I think that would be great. I think it'd be great to get Dover back in a points slot and try another SMI facility in the All-Star place. Voldemort again says, RP effect for St. Pete. Is that Roger Penske effect, I guess? I stand with 2311 in the super chat. Again, pushing for hashtag I stand with 2311. Sean Doxwell, thanks for the super chat. The 7 car for Cup on NASCAR app says TBA. On the app? Interesting. Was that on the official entry list? I believe Haley is listed, but that is
For the Cup race?
that's what he says.
Yeah, they actually don't have a name attached to it.
Oh,
but it might be a glitch because the 11 car in Xfinity Series is also showing the I age 125, just like this one is. It's probably just a glitch for Haley right now.
Hopefully that's not some ugly foreshadowing for Justin Haley. Maybe just Justin Haley's name is glitched in their app because those are both his cars, the 11 and the 7.
I think that's what it has to be. It's a glitch.
Weird.
Because it's gonna be awful if something happens. I picked Justin Haley for the Xfinity race.
Where are we at? Scotty B says, can both Nashville tracks work on the schedule or will the super speedway go away? What do you think?
I think they can both work.
Maybe. We'll see. I think it's worth trying it for a year at least.
It depends. The dates have to be far apart.
Yeah, probably true. Couple from West Virginia. I would be a little mad if we lost Nashville Super Speedway or Dover for the Fairgrounds. No offense to the Fairgrounds supporters, but I prefer the Speedway. Fair enough. And then says Roush engine for Mears, 100% he is winning. Wow. A lot of people buying into MBM Motorsports this week. Yes, I did hear he's going to have I guess, A-tier motor, but I feel like there's still more that goes into it. Good luck to Casey Mears. Anyone can win. He could very well be in the mix. Will Griffin says, just saw the Stern bomb. I hope SMI keeps Dover and the Nashville Super Speedway, but moves Spring Bristol to Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm actually really nervous about Dover now. I swear, New England race fans are ignored. Yeah, unfortunately, as NASCAR boomed and then it's slowly compressing. No more Auto Club. Dover and Pocono lose a date. It's like kind of back slowly but surely getting back to the Southeast, for better or for worse. Mrs. Jar Jar Binks says, USA rang. Well, USA all need to stand with 2311, of course. Cameron Wellen, thank you for the super chat. McLaughlin should take Cindric's seat. Kiwi Road Course 1-2. give it a year or two, and that 2 seat could get hotter. I don't know if Scotty Mack is the right guy to take over that job, but that would be interesting. I see that their super chat came through as New Zealand money, so I think they're a little biased in their Scotty Mack fandom there. Fair enough. Another from Scotty B. A lot of Scotties here. Says Casey Mears will win Saturday night. Go 66 or 60 if he's not upside down. Yeah, big if there. K Pro says hashtag I stand for Cody Ware. Now we know where all those votes came from earlier. Justin Drake says, is Matt Crafton and Menards the longest active team sponsor pairing, not just in present NASCAR history, but in overall NASCAR history? Someone's got to pull up that fact. I saw a post from someone, I think it was actually from the team, that suggested it was the longest, at least current. I don't know if it is in history, but someone who knows more of NASCAR history could probably tell me. I mean, STP and Richard Petty comes to mind. I don't know.
Yeah, when did it start for the
2000 or 2002-ish?
2002, so 24 years.
Let's just say it was around 24 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got.
Peter Strada says that Menards broke STP's record last year.
No shit.
That's crazy. All right, maybe Matt Crafton is a Hall of Famer. He just beat Richard Petty.
That's something. He has more truck wins than Richard Petty. Let's just ignore the part that Petty didn't race once, the truck series started.
I think doesn't Richard Petty have like some drag racing wins though from way back in the day? So
his drag racing career is cursed.
Maybe it didn't. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Let's just say there was an accident.
JQS98 says, honestly, the schedule release was a letdown, in my opinion. I feel like they just announced all the big stuff, San Diego and whatnot early. Like, I think St. Pete was the one big surprise. And granted, that was a pretty interesting surprise. I wouldn't say it was a total letdown. Cody, the racing fan, says, name 2 prospects that will win a cup championship and 2 that won't. Congrats on 250K. Thank you, Cody.
2 cup prospects that we think will win and 2 that won't.
Yes.
Okay.
Controversial, but I'm going to say Jesse Love won't.
Ooh, see, he's on the fence for me.
Oh, God. I don't want to. I'm trying to think through my head.
I think Zilish will.
I think right now it feels like Zilich and Heim are the picks, but here's my problem. Say Zilich is truly a track house for lifer. I know they just made some competition changes. Maybe that team will get to the top of the charts one day if they join Honda or something. But if he's at Trackhouse for life, could we be seeing a Harvick at RCR type situation? But Zilich and Heim are the first 2 yeses that come to mind, but it all depends on where they end up landing.
This is probably more of a safer one. I don't think Danny Dye will. I think he will make it to the Cup Series, but I don't think he will be close to winning a championship.
I think so. I'm going to go Zilich, and I'm going to say Zilich and Brent Cruz because it sounds like he's in line for a Joe Gibbs Racing seat one day.
Okay, so I think we're on the same page with our will for that, Zilich and Cruz. I'm going to say Raja. I love him. I haven't seen enough in the trucks right now, and
yeah, I don't think he will win one.
I'm going to say because I don't like the way the direction of things are going with the Toyota side. In general, I'm going to say Corey Heim. Trucks are so different. I mean, we'll look at what we saw. Look what we've seen this year with Eckes, who was on Heim's level last year, and now in Xfinity, granted with colleague, but still, like, I don't know, man. I want to see I want to see more of what he can do in the top 2 series before I can truly buy in general. Truck series, he's a GOAT.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like Zilich and Heim, it's going to depend on where they land. Like Heim is a 2311 development driver, but I don't know when or if there's a path for him there. So
what happens if the lawsuit? Like
exactly.
I can't nail it.
If Heim ends up, I don't know if this is even on the table. Let's say he ends up in a Legacy Motor Club car for 10 years. Is he winning a championship in Legacy? I mean, they might figure it out and evolve, maybe, but I would say right now, probably not. If Heim were in line to take Denny Hamlin's seat in 3 years, I'd say, yeah, Heim, I could see him winning a title, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So it really depends on where they land.
I need to see that's the thing with Zilich and Cruz. Their future is set, and I can see no matter what happens. Did you all see that thing that kind of went under the radar that there's like a rumor that Trackhouse could be waiting for Honda? Even
Yeah, I did see that
not
floated out
Dodge.
there, which I've this whole year I've been like, yeah, they would make the most sense to switch to a new OEM considering their international appeal, considering their
But
3 cars,
to
and
be
they're
fair,
not the top guys at Chevy. Yeah.
they make really smart business moves usually, and Dodge has looked rickety with this whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I wouldn't jump on if I'm like I think Colleague makes sense to jump on with Ram and Dodge because what do they have to lose? They're like the second slowest team in Cup right now.
Hey,
But Trackhouse is still in a decent spot. I wouldn't jump on the first bandwagon. I'd wait for the right partnership.
I'm going to add one more answer to this. Not necessarily that they won't win a championship, but I'm going to say a Cup, who I feel is a Cup prospect that won't even win a Cup race. It's Corey Day.
Ooh, you're already off the Corey Day hype train. I mean, he has not been amazing this year. In his one-off starts, he's not been amazing.
I don't know.
You're right.
I'm just not sold that he will be a Cup Series winning talent.
I'll say this: I was all the way off the William Sawalich bandwagon 3 months ago. I'm not on the bandwagon. I don't know how good he'll be, but like I'm of the mindset now he could win some Xfinity races eventually for sure. I wouldn't have said that 6 months ago. So we'll see. Things can change. That's a great question, Cody, the racing fan. Good topic right there. We're getting into the home stretch. Appreciate you all sticking with us. From Skipper the Penguin, Kowalski. No, I'm just kidding. I saw a stat that Bowman averages the most stage points at Daytona at 31.5. Will he outpoint Reddick? How can you average 31 stage points? Maybe like 31 points total if you include stages. That's probably what they mean.
I think that's what they mean.
I mean, that puts you on the cusp of beating Reddick, but you still need Reddick to wreck or have a major issue, is what I think. Lord Voldemort, the Dark Lord. I'm not Emilio. Okay, close enough. Boo Kevin Harvick, boo Alex Bowman. Now that's even more suspicious. Now I definitely think it's her. West Virginia says Austin Dillon's going to save RCR by going to Dodge. That'll be so interesting. Is if Dillon in a couple of years head of the team,
man, that would just hurt to see them go away from Chevy. Honestly,
that would be so jarring. Napa Racing Fan says NASCAR loves making the schedule a logistical nightmare. Pocono to San Diego, New Hampshire to Daytona, Vegas and Phoenix not back to back in the fall. I think you pointed that out, Jarrett, especially with Vegas and Phoenix. Yeah, it's tough when you're a nationwide sport and everyone's based on the East Coast. You know, IndyCar does it right. Everyone's in Indianapolis. That's at least a little more centrally located, right? I mean, I don't know. Justin Drake with a very generous $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Says that I like that Steve O'Donnell said with Eric, he'd love to see 5 manufacturers. I'd love to see Dodge with the Charger, not the electric vacuum one, and BMW with BMW fielding the M4 competition. But what would each of you like to see as the 2 new manufacturers? I think Dodge, we all would love to see, and seems realistic. So who's the 5th?
I mean, Honda is the most realistic one of the outside of the like ones we have a clear pathway of. So I'll go with them. There's not really, I'll be honest, there's not really any that I see being realistic outside of those 2 right now.
That's why I'm trying to think. Fantastic. Bentley.
See, if it was a couple of years ago, Nissan, but they're struggling for money right now, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Honda is the only other one that realistically, I mean, they're already involved in American motorsports. They are at the size and scale that they could truly take on a NASCAR endeavor the way even Dodge, I'm not sure, could at this point. So
I would love one where it's like, we did a great job in our Doritos number 34 Volkswagen.
The accent and everything.
I never forget a Volkswagen has won a race at Auto Club Speedway.
Good
Nick pull. Somehow passed post race. I still don't get that. Nick, thank you for the super chat. Last 3 average finishes of the regular season champion in the playoffs is 17th, 18th, and 18th, respectively. Regular season champ might be cursed. See, but bad average finishes, we just noted that 2 of those 3 still made it to the championship 4. So those bonus points do make a difference late in the year. But yeah, that's a good point that it has been a rocky playoffs for the regular season champ the last few years. Zardy, thanks for the 2. Any news on if Diffie will do track and field in September? I have no idea. He's done Olympic stuff for NBC. I assume they'd bring him in again, but if it conflicts with NASCAR, I doubt it. Hunter Nixon Fishing says, I bet Kyle Busch wishes at this point he would have just swallowed his pride and took less money to stay at Gibbs. I don't know where he's at in his career. I don't know if he's getting paid good at RCR or what, but he's got a kid who's starting his career, family to bring up. Money matters, at the end of the day. But yeah, I bet he wishes he was winning more races. Scotty B says NW611 is the only J class left out of 16 builds. Rest were scrapped. Probably is what they meant to say.
So that's the only one still remaining.
Refreshed on me. We're in the home stretch here. Sly Supersonic says Richmond Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Dillon. That's Roman numeral 3 says Braycard, friend of the show, been on the show a few months back, thinks Joliet is in the middle of nowhere. It's in a county, of 800,000 people. It is also a 45-minute drive from the Loop on a Sunday.
I'll quickly add to that. It's not in the middle of nowhere, and they've really built up around it. It's not even in Joliet. It's like right on the outside. I don't know. It was in the middle of nowhere when it was built in 2001, but it's not anymore because of the growth of the area.
That's kind of how Texas Motor Speedway is now. I mean, they got a Buc-ee's across the street. Business is booming. Napa Racing fan says Dale Jr., screw Concrete Dover. I want Wilkesboro. I mean, Dale Jr. wanted Wilkesboro. He got more Wilkesboro. Then says the Fairgrounds have been saved from the Karens. Fingers crossed. Nothing's a done deal till it's a done deal, but let's hope so. Zinthroth says, ready for Jones to repeat that 2018 magic? I sure am. Hashtag that Jones boy. Love when we get Eric Jones fans in the chat. That's always a pleasant surprise. From R34 says, how do you think North Wilkesboro will race with 40 cars? I think it'll be probably better because you'll have lap traffic and it'll make it harder to pass, stack up the leaders, and create even more side by side than you had already. That'd be my guess. I'm Dan. Who are you? I want to know what necromancy pulled Jimmy's dead career and hoisted its curse onto KFB. I don't know if I can be a fan of this for 5 more years. Yeah, that would be so hard to see to go. I do. One of the questions last week was which fan base in NASCAR is the most miserable. And I think it has to be Kyle Busch fans right now. I think it's not even close. It's got to be even Suarez fans. Hey, you got to celebrate that Mexico City moment.
Yeah, but they never get those highs to come down from, really, like as Suarez fans. Like Kyle Busch fans were at the peak. Yeah. And then it went like it's like Jimmy fans at the end. Yeah.
Scotty B, really generous tonight. Appreciate your support. STP is still a sponsor on the 43, which started over 50 years ago. Yeah, I guess the problem is it's not directly with Richard Petty, the driver. But yeah, if you're looking at like general iconic paint scheme sponsor combos, it's the 43 STP card. That is still unbeatable, unmatched. Cameron Whelan, thanks again. McLaughlin has more oval wins than Cindric, excluding super speedways, in half the number of races. After his dad's firing, how safe is his seat? He's safe for next year. But I mean, I think there'll be real conversations in 2026 if Cindric doesn't step up. This year at times early on looked like this was his moment. Year 4, Cindric getting better, wins Talladega, but it's been rocky ever since.
That stuff about Carson Quapple. They have an Xfinity program or O'Reilly program.
A lot of rumblings there. I definitely don't think Cindric's seat is safe long term at this point. He's going to have to perform better sooner than later. From J Mont says Honda joins, but with the Acura Integra next gen. I'm not super familiar. Is Honda and Acura? Is Honda own Acura?
It's a same company.
I did not know that. I actually didn't know that. I should know that, but I didn't. Learn something new. Crash Travels USA says Blaney sneaky championship threat. 7 DNFs, but an 8th place average finish when he finishes. Not to mention 5 DNFs came while running inside the top 10. No, I agree. I still don't fully buy that this is Team Penske's year, 4th win in a row, 4th title in a row. But if anyone from Penske is going to do it, it's going to be Ryan Blaney. I do believe in Ryan Blaney. Finished 3rd at Richmond this weekend. I think that team is still right there on the cusp. Appreciate the super chat, y'all. We're getting to the end. Weiss Virginia says the regular season champ has missed the playoffs the next year since 2022. Does the curse get Reddick this year, and does he miss? Has missed the playoffs? Wait, is that true? I guess Elliott No, who? Yeah, Elliott won it in 22 and missed in 23.
Truex.
Wow.
Whoa.
20
And
So this would be the third year in a row. If it happens to Reddick, this would be the third year in a row.
I think that would fit enough of a sample size to be a curse.
That's insane. Okay, that's
I
not
don't
a
think
fun
it's going to
fact.
happen.
That's a morbid fact. All right, Hunter Nixon Fishing. Is it crazy we have made it this far into the season and Reddick hasn't won? I mean, but yep, it is. It's also crazy that another regular season champ could get knocked out. Another one from, I'm not going to say their name again. I messed up the first time, but thank you, 34. What is one track that you hope is never the championship race? I think we can all say unanimously Daytona or Talladega. You can say that. From the number 3. And for Danny, Joliet, you can go by train.
Yep, you can.
There we go. And I believe this is our final super chat. Thank you all so much for sticking with us tonight. From Brennan Halloran. I'm just joining, but I think this the saddest thing about the schedule is no triple header at Kansas. Are they both just double headers?
Yeah, the Xfinity O'Reilly is spring, Truck is fall.
Well, as long as Cup is there twice. I know the crowd has been iffy, but the racing is so good. Justin Drake says, is there anything going on for NASCAR 25 at Daytona? I keep hearing rumors or something going on, like to try out the game. If not, when could something like that pop up?
They did say they will be unveiling the cover art at the fan stage at 2:55, I think, Eastern time.
On
I don't
Saturday,
know.
yeah.
I don't know, Jarrett. Are they going to have any ability to play the game or anything?
Nothing that I've heard of so far, but I think if there were, it'd be after the trailer, which will be after Bristol.
And finally, from Napa Racing Fan, congrats on 250,000 subscribers watched since the NASCAR parodies. Good times. Oldies but goodies.
You should do a NASCAR parody randomly over the off season.
Don't tempt me, Danny. I might just get bored enough to do something silly like that. Thank you for the kind comment there, Napa Race Fan. Thank you all for the super chats and for your support this evening. It's been a fun show, a packed show, but we covered a lot of ground. Gentlemen, Danny, I hope you enjoyed Daytona. Safe travels. Have a good time. I'm pulling for Alex Bowman on your behalf. I think that'd be a great story. Hope he gets it done. One final super chat sneaking in here. We touched on that earlier, Jay, but I don't think any of us really know.
A huge question right there.
I know, big, that could generate another 10-minute discussion, but we kind of already had it. We don't know. I think we probably think NASCAR will, the teams will not get their next injunction, but none of us are experts. So as I was doing my outro, Jarrett, I hope you have a good weekend as well. I don't know if you have a fan favorite at this point. Anyone, who'd you pick this week? You picked Byron. I hope Byron does well, but not as well as Joey Logano, because that was my pick.
But I think deep down you were thinking Bowman if I wasn't obviously going to go with that one.
Bowman was my number 2 pick.
No way. You were going to snipe Bowman from if Danny didn't take him, make it turn the spotlight onto you. Crazy. Maniac.
Yeah, right there.
Oh my gosh. The proof is in the writing. The handwritten notes that Jarrett takes every week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the Icebergs channel 1 week from tonight. Have a great week, a great Daytona weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, folks.
Drivers, start your engine.
3, 2, 1.
Green flag.
Start it off right now. Right on. Come on.
Get outside.
3 wide. 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggression. We probably dropped a great car. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
They're so nice to
See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming white. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.